And gentlemen, welcome to the Untitled Sickos Project. The podcast that's been rated best in my mom's basement. Who are you people, though?
More like,
my name is
what are you
my name is
people?
Aiden. My name is Aiden, and I root for good teams and one really bad team.
And that bad team is the Niners. Wah, wah. I couldn't resist.
Well, the Niners, if they wore teal and had absolutely no fucking talent.
Yes. Hello. I am Nick Man. I am most known for having the Golden Chad profile picture, which also once appeared on ESPN. I'm just here right now. I am just here to enjoy the chaos that is sports right now because there is so much to talk about tonight.
That there is. There's a lot to talk about today.
I am Car Sausage. You may know me for being vehicular, made of meat, and being a convert to the religion of Josh Dobbs. So that's exciting.
I am the Masked Door. There's lots of things done. I finished Chaos League. I can actually play video game now. My transitional vacation into new job will be ending shortly. I can't wait to get back to work. Sports world it's nuts.
Speaking
nuts.
of sports, I got some news. I got some news to report from Kevin Weeks.
Breaking news.
Yes, indeed. This is the Sickos breaking news report. Kevin Weeks says, fresh off the goal and big hit tonight against the Maple Leafs, he is told that Nikita Zadorov for the Calgary Flames has requested a trade.
My goodness.
Hang on tight, Flames fans. That won't be the last domino to fall.
Whoa.
For the report, Kevin, I love how this happened right after he scores a goal tonight for Calgary. But yes, that has been the Sickos breaking news report.
Sickos breaking news. Breaking sport news for all your fellow Sickos teams.
Brought to you by nobody because we're not sponsored.
Wow. Okay. Damn. I mean, I imagine there's going to be some drastic movements between both Calgary, you hope Edmonton. I mean, the fact that Calgary and Alberta's just a gong show. Winnipeg's a gong show. Ottawa's a gong show.
Yep.
The fact that the Leafs aren't a top 10 Canadian gong show team is absolutely crazy. Vancouver, everybody's in just a state of euphoria right now.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I said it earlier regarding the Leafs and all that, and the state of Canada hockey. The Leafs are a mess. They are a massive mess, and yet they're not even the top 5 biggest dumpster fires in Canadian hockey right now. Mm-hmm. That's saying something.
That speaks volumes.
No, it might be a perfect time to follow basketball. The Warriors bandwagon is you're welcome at my fellow contestants.
You could always follow Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks.
I mean,
yes, I am advertising. Shut the fuck up.
Could do that. However, I will also say, don't be a Bulls fan right now. You don't want to be a Chicago Bulls fan.
Friends don't let friends be Bulls fans.
Yeah, just don't.
Yeah, just be a Warriors fan. We have Andrew Wiggins. He's Canadian.
Ew, Andrew Wiggins. Wasn't he terrible at Minnesota? Boo!
I mean, if anything, if you really just want to be a fan of the team, I can't think of a better team than the Jacksonville Heat. So, you know.
Oh yeah, the Chaos League is coming.
It's back.
It's coming hard.
Baby,
oh baby. Don't hang up that phone. I don't know. The script just told me to say that. Luke,
Yeah,
you
I'm
gotta
just gonna
write better
say, though.
scripts.
Well, I'll just say this, script or not, Alberta liquor sales have skyrocketed by like 200%. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, in fact, that's our first sponsor, Calgary Liquor. Uh, drink, you idiot. Be sure to use code SICKO at checkout and save 0%.
We don't have a checkout plus alcohol. So overrated. I mean, if you're Edmonton, you mean the Elks are horrible. I mean, you're most likely a Bears fan or not a Vikings fan. I mean, they're probably Bills fans and they're not having a good time.
People are making a big push towards electric, and because they're in Edmonton, that means they're not having a good time.
I don't know. Oil is still a consumable thing. Still used
Yeah,
for
but
other
people
things.
are making. Mexico just made a big push to electrify all their rail.
That's good.
Yeah, I saw that Alan Fisher tweet. That's honestly funny that Mexico might force the U.S. to have to do that.
That would be incredibly based.
Yeah.
Incredibly based. I mean,
I think
wow.
they're gonna electrify rail
Zadorov
really
requested
soon as well.
it.
Hopefully soon.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, bad day for
Oh.
Edmonton.
I mean, Calgary Stampeders got eliminated by the BC Lions. I mean,
Hey, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are still in play. Yeehaw!
Winnipeg's playing BC for the championship. I hope BC wins because
I hope Winnipeg lives up to their name and, wins a peg.
I don't know. It's probably
Feel free to boo, Nick.
very well. The Grey Cup probably is very well going to be Winnipeg and Toronto again. Good old parody and rematch. So there's that Canadians have to not look forward to and choose to watch Sunday Night Football over the fucking Grey Cup.
Hey, but you know what? There are plenty of other options for the Alberta market, such as the Saskatoon Broncos.
Yeah, Saskatoon Broncos. We got the Toronto Huskies, the Quebec Nordiques. They're back. Actually in Chaos League, the Calgary Flames did win the cup. They won the cup. They won the first one.
The Broncos have the best Filipino winger of all time, Aiden Fugisaki, a 6'9" forward, born in 420.
Aiden, you and I got eliminated in the first round, so let's not jump to let's not get too far ahead of
Did
ourselves.
I make the playoffs?
Hold on. Broncos country, let's ride.
Nick Man eliminated me.
Ace.
Nick Man beat me in the first round. And then the Chilliwack Heat lost to a fucking emotional gaming rock. God damn it, I lost a fucking... It happened again. We were up 3-1 with the minute left to play. The AI scores 2 goals. I go to overtime. Bijou scores the game winner. I cry myself to sleep because it happened again.
Did Milwaukee make it?
I don't know if you're signed to Milwaukee at the moment.
Oh, shit.
Because you're at... Because technically we don't have an NHL contract. We're more technically assigned. And if teams are... Say they don't have $10 million in cap space... it's hard to sign us. I tried to sign Nick for weeks. Well, game simulated weeks. Trying to avoid giving up 3 first-round picks. Could not bite. He went and signed with the Ducks. Because I tried like a 1-year, $6 million deal, but he didn't like the term on that, so I couldn't... I tried, and I fucking tried.
Where'd I go?
I don't know. I'll let you know after this gum. I'll let you know where he went. But I'm like 80% sure he went to Milwaukee. I think the Dragons made it to the playoffs, but I think they got bounced round 1 or 2.
Hey, you know what? We made the playoffs. That's good enough for me.
None of us made it that far. I'm tempted to I don't think Milwaukee made it because it's literally just Spencer carrying this whole team.
Sausage. Anyway, is that? Do we have a welcome mat for tonight?
Hold on. Let me just pull into the driveway. Get things set up. But yeah, we have a welcome mat. Just need to get ready.
Do you think we should do pick'ems first while
Yes!
we wait for the welcome?
Yes, I have that. I have that. I have that.
Yeah.
I have that.
Yeah,
I have that ready. I have that ready. I have that ready. I was just typing that out in the doc. I have it ready. I have it ready. Alright! Alright, so we are approaching the I'm sad, we're approaching the college football season. This season's been fun. It's been fun.
We've had the surprise emergence of Rocco Becht. Like, he's been good for the Iowa State Cyclones. What the hell?
Iowa State plays in the Big 12, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good. I hope Iowa State gets ranked. Washington's having it like, oh my god. I'm just loving all the good games. It's the last of the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 has been like, the finale of the Pac-12 has been everything you could hope for it was going to be. This has been a fun watch. I will certainly be watching Oregon and USC tomorrow. It's been fun. It's been fun.
Damn it.
It's been super fun to see.
Oh, cool. That counted.
So,
nice.
Yeah. Anyways, first game, Michigan versus Penn State. Michigan but like not really without John Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh.
God's sake.
Niner Harbaugh, not Ravens Harbaugh.
Right.
Niner Harbaugh.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. With Niners with not Ravens Harbaugh.
Yes. Jimbo Harbaugh, not Jonathan Harbaugh.
Yeah.
If you could just send $1, you two would help me roasting the shit out of Lucas's spelling. A noble cause indeed.
Shut up. I can't spell, alright? I've never been able to spell.
I can
Sounds
change
like
that.
a skill issue.
Shut up.
I can fix him.
Alright, Michigan, Penn State. Who do you guys got?
Oh boy.
I'm still putting Michigan because the Penn State can't beat a top 10 team, even without not Ravens Harbaugh.
I'm gonna say this: the suspension is not really gonna do anything because he's still gonna be coaching during the middle of the week. So, I'm still saying Michigan.
I'm going Penn State Nittany Lions. I am a certified hater.
Yeah, look, I'm just gonna say, like, honestly, like, there is a scenario where I can see Penn State living up to its talent and finding a way to win this game. However, Michigan is no question gonna be very fucking angry when they play this game. They are going to be pissed. Especially with the timing of when the news got delivered, considering they found out while they were flying to Penn State. So I'm sure that did not help the mood at all. So I'm going Michigan.
All right, next, we got Washington and Utah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Give me
Washington.
penis.
All right.
I'm gonna say Michael Penis Jr. wins.
Like I said, give me that penis.
All right.
Yeah, I did Washington already. I said Washington.
Fuck. I'm gonna go take Utah.
Is it purely for the jinx?
Yep.
You scared of Jason Washington?
Yep.
All right,
You
understandable.
pussy. You
Yep. I'm gonna take you. Well, a little bit too. Is there a quarterback starting this week?
Who, Utah?
Dalton Riser.
No, he's not playing this year. Like they decided not to have him play now
All right,
because it's been
changing it to
games.
Washington. Changing it to Washington. Changing it to Washington. Yeah, the backup QB can't. I mean, Washington's gonna make it harder than it needs to be, but if we curse Washington, I'm gonna be so fucking mad. I want Washington to make the CFB playoffs, man. Alright. Tennessee and Missouri.
Alright.
This is a tough one.
Missouri.
Is it wrong for me to say Battle of Mid?
It's
No,
ranked.
I don't think they're not mid. They're not mid.
Better half of the SEC.
Yeah.
That
This is a
feels really weird to
50-50.
say about.
This is 50-50 to me because on one hand I do feel like Tennessee has shown like in these past 2 years that yeah, they know how to win games like this. They can definitely show they can win games like this. However, I will say Missouri's performance last week against Georgia was very impressive. Even in defeat, they gave Georgia a great fight, and honestly, for the sake of the fact that Tennessee this year, as good as they are, they have struggled on the road. I'm gonna pick Missouri.
I'm gonna pick Tennessee because something in my gut doesn't feel right saying Missouri is good. You know, like it just.
The new coach they brought in has turned this program around.
This does
it's
not
been a
align
couple-
with my goddamn chakras, brother.
Yes, I know. It is weird seeing Missouri this good considering how last year this was the same team that lost to a really bad Auburn team on a missed field goal. But yeah, you know what? I don't know. Stuff happens. Okay, stuff happens.
I'm used to this team being the equivalent of Mizu Tiger sitting on couch smoking bong meme.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing Missouri like not being good and getting suspended at this, or having someone get suspended at this point because the NCAA hates them.
I mean, fucking who has been their best product to come out of Missouri? Fucking Drew
Blake
Lock.
Gabbert.
Oh yeah, but Drew Lock was out of Missouri. That's right.
Yeah, Drew Lock was at Missouri. Yeah, he was.
Damn.
Or Scott Lock.
Wow.
I know that because there's a guy on Twitter called @Lock2Mini that's all about how the Vikings should recruit Drew Lock to be their next quarterback.
No, he's gonna be in Seattle. He likes Pete too much. No, he's in Seattle. All right, Aiden, Tennessee or Missouri?
I'm just gonna say this in case, just so it'll be funnier. It'll be funnier when they fail. Tennessee.
Crazy. All right, nice and even. Let's say probably the game of the one we really want to watch. I mean, then there's this other one. All right, Ole Miss versus Georgia. Does ranked number 9 Ole Miss take
I really
down
thought you were.
number 2 Georgia?
I really thought you were about to say New Miss.
Spencer, shut the fuck up.
Like you know what? Fuck you on Old Year, Mississippi.
I know I can't spell, but I know like most majority of colleges, especially since. No, wait. DK
It's
Metcalf.
pronounced
Did he
actually?
did DK come from Old Miss?
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yep.
See, I know that. Yeah. Yeah, Georgia.
Seriously, Georgia.
It's in Athens, and Ole Miss. I'm not exactly trustworthy of Ole Miss when it comes to facing top 10 teams, so I'm going Georgia.
Yeah, but New Miss though. Now there's a team.
God, New Miss.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, this is
I mean, Oklahoma, man, they're down. Oklahoma's gonna be down bad.
Yeah, this New Miss joke is being ran into the ground more than Lane Kiffin after he left Tennessee.
Spencer, who are you gonna take?
For what game?
Georgia, Old Miss.
Give me Georgia. You can't stop a wagon like that.
Aye, good. All right, on to the NFL. Spencer, what are the games?
Oh,
Because
God,
just like that, you wait. Actually, no, you did finish. You did finish the worst.
It's me. Hi. I'm the worst. It's me.
For the consecutive week in a row.
Ugh.
Hey, but it's okay. This last week you were only you were 3-7.
Oh, God. Imagine a world where that's an improvement. Detroit Lions and Los Angeles Chargers.
All right, and second game.
Hey, you know what? New York Giants and Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. So Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Dallas. If we gain them, who cares? I'm not
Seriously,
picking
Dallas.
Tommy
Yeah.
DeVito.
Dallas.
I am.
No, you're not.
Good Lord. No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
I watched that Giants Raiders. I watched
Spencer!
that Giants Raiders game. That offense is fucking putrid.
Spencer, tell me.
Which is why the Cowboys will lose. Because they had too many games where they steamrolled their opponent, and that Eagles game wasn't embarrassing enough, so they have to lose in embarrassing fashion to Tommy DeVito and the Giants.
Spencer, I would believe that there's a chance of an upset if it was Daniel Jones, heck, even Terod Taylor. But dude, Danny DeVito.
Okay, give me the Giants, baby! Big
Brian
blue
Dable at
freaking
quarterback.
crew!
Fuck it. Okay, put Brian Dable at quarterback.
Okay. Alrighty then. Spencer's on drugs. What the fuck?
Yeah, and the other game was, yeah, he is on drugs. Other game was Lions Chargers.
I'll take Lions eating some kneecaps.
Lions.
Nick, who are you taking?
See, my only issue is, I'm definitely, the Lions are definitely the better team. However, the last two times I picked against the Chargers, they ended up beating, the Chargers ended up winning both times. So I've definitely got that thought in my head. However, I want to see how powerful this jinx really is. So I'm picking the Lions.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ozza to the chat.
Speed running this. Michigan or Penn State?
Michigan.
Cool.
Real quick, I had no notification that we were on today.
Huh. Yeah, it's every day of the week. Don't you have our group chat notifications on?
Oh no, I turned them off.
Yeah, well, that's
I
why.
I was on Risk of Rain Returns, and then I started hearing the pings. I was like, okay, I gotta concentrate. I'm almost to the end, and I lost.
Damn.
Not what he wanted to call.
Washington and Utah.
Yeah. Look, at the end, Washington. Washington. Give me two more. Come on.
Alright, Tennessee and Missouri.
Shit. Okay, I'm gonna. Have to look this one up.
Alright, not a problem. Not a
Ooh,
problem.
interesting.
Come on, bro.
one.
This is on the test.
It's an interesting one because I do like Missouri here more than Tennessee. I'm going Missouri.
Coolio. And Georgia and Ole Miss.
Georgia.
Okay.
Ole Miss could win that though.
They could. Spencer, Lions, Chargers.
You know what? I think the Chargers are a better team than we give them credit for. Give me Chargers.
Actually.
You're not taking the kneecaps?
No.
Oh.
Well, one, because I don't want to jinx them.
I
But
don't blame
also-
you with that.
But also, because we've seen how the Lions' defense has struggled against good quarterbacks like Geno Smith and Justin Herbert. I haven't been really impressed with.
You mean Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
Yes, Lamar.
Lemar.
Lemar.
Yeah, I haven't.
Lemar.
Like I said, I haven't been impressed with many of the Lions' wins, if I'm being honest.
Alright, Azza, Lions, Chargers.
Shit. I'm gonna go with the Lions. I think they are a better team than the Chargers.
Pog, and
They're
then...
more consistent than the Chargers.
Alright, and then everybody
You
else...
should DM me. Oh, we're live, by the way.
I
Instead of sending me pick'ems.
I thought you were busy.
Do you see me? Do you see the notification of if I'm playing something?
I honestly had assumed that
What?
you were at work and it was your brother on your computer.
Nah. Oh no, I never let him on this ever.
Okay,
Also, Ozza, your microphone sounds great, by the way.
he's got his computer back.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah.
That's not sarcasm. All right.
No, that's Spencer. He has his computer back.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
I've been having it back for like 2 weeks, but what makes it better is that right now I'm talking in a low voice, and I have the mic to pick up like on max because my brother's sleeping. Like it's a bunk bed. Like if you see the setup, it's one of the worst setups you'll ever see. But yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that my mic sounds good. And probably the driver from my PC from the motherboard. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think my capture card, I think my capture card's gonna not have issues anymore, which is a
I don't
freaking
even have
miracle.
a capture card. It's just the PC itself. Like it's insane. I might get a capture card though. I've been thinking about it because
I'm so iffy on Elgato capture cards. That's just me. I'm so
Bro,
iffy on them.
Just take a camcorder and point it at your TV. What are you talking about?
I'm thinking about getting back to YouTube. I've been playing this game. I'm like, this is peak gaming, right? Like I've been having so much fun with Risk of Rain Returns that I want to bring back my YouTube channel for this joyous occasion. I'm trying to move my monitor.
Alright, let's see. We're gonna share screen, change windows. Alright, we got our upsets. I'm assuming for the Giants and Cowboys, everybody's but Spencer's taking the Cowboys.
Okay.
Is that a correct assumption?
Yeah, that's a correct assumption.
Okay.
Wait, what?
It's who do you want, Cowboys or Giants?
Cowboys.
Just double checking. Aiden, Cowboys or Giants?
Spencer, this is
I know.
no-brainer. You were going to go 0-2 on this.
I'm gonna go Cowboys.
Do I want to make a bet on this? I want to make a bet on this, but like, No.
I'm seeing 3
Here's
columns.
a bet that should happen. Here's a bet that should happen on this. If the Cowboys lose to the Giants, Scooter should have to delete his channel.
No, I like Scooter too much.
I'm
No,
seeing
here's the thing: if the Cowboys lose to the Giants, Scooter's losing in the dumpster. Sorry, in the clickbait. He's got to lose in clickbait.
Yeah.
He's got to lose in clickbait.
So
All right.
actually,
No,
it's
here's one. If the Cowboys lose to the Giants, you have to introduce the next episode as Iago the Parrot.
What do I get if I win?
Seahawks. Wait, no. Commanders. Commanders is my upset. First of all,
Cool.
Commanders is my first upset.
Cool.
Like Seahawks, you're a good team, but like the Commanders, they're
Well,
the most inconsistent team. They're boom or bust. And I think they're gonna boom here.
You choose whatever cringy thing I gotta do for.
I'm gonna pick
here's
Commanders
the
as my
thing.
upset too, just because I want to reverse jinx.
If the all these upsets are terrible. I might hit the college ranks for my upset. I might hit the college ranks.
Rutgers. Wait, Rutgers. Rutgers. You cannot tell me Rutgers can't beat Iowa, bro. I'm putting Rutgers. Put mine as Rutgers for the upset.
Let me look at what the big what ESPN says the Big Ten is. What is Rutgers? It's Iowa, but 1.5.
Oh. Wait, really? They think I just find it more
1.5.
funny that they think that Rutgers can compete. Although they're pretty good.
I don't even. You know what? For the Sickles committee, I'm taking Northwestern. That's my upset. I'm taking Northwestern. Northwestern.
I'm taking the comp.
You're insane.
I'm taking Northwestern over.
We don't know what the fuck we're doing, team.
Yep, I'm
As your
taking.
upset.
See, I'm taking Northwestern over for the sick. I'm doing it for the Sickles committee. Doing it for them. In their dream, they have a dream setup where it's a 5-way tie of teams that are with their conference records of being 4 and 5.
I'm gonna have to check this myself. Well, what's the link you're on? I'm checking.
ESPN, just the base.
Scoreboard group. Yeah.
Yeah, just this.
Hang on, fellas. I gotta smoke more crack.
Are you telling me Michigan State over Ohio?
Even better, dude. I'm gonna take the Broncos over the Bills.
Oh.
Ooh.
You know
That's
what?
7.5.
Considering how Buffalo's been playing, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility of being a very close
I'm gonna
game.
take. I'm actually. I'm gonna take Colorado here.
Colorado, Pac-12. Colorado State or Colorado?
Colorado.
Okay, it's Pac-12.
Could be Arizona.
Ooh.
I don't like. I would have taken Rutgers, but like if they're gonna put that line, like that's insane.
-10.
That is not a negative 1.5. That is. Come on.
Colorado. I will accept Colorado. Aiden, who's your upset? I hate all the NFL upsets this week, so I'm taking Northwestern.
I'm gonna do this for you, Luke. This is gonna be my reverse jinx, because every time I bet on your team, they always lose. So I'm gonna bet against your team. I'm gonna bet on the Commanders. I'm willing to make my predictions suffer just for you, man.
We should beat Washington, but Gino needs to stop turning the ball over.
I just think it's funny that it's Seattle versus Washington, and Seattle is in Washington.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
The amount of red.
You still going? You gonna go Denver over Buffalo?
Me? Yeah.
You know,
I was thinking Nick.
No, Nick. The amount of red we're about to see in a week's time is gonna be insane.
oh yeah.
Like
Definitely.
we're not gonna even go 500. We're gonna go below 500. These are just not good.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, for my upset, see, I was considering picking a college football upset because, yeah, a lot of these upsets are not good this week. However, there is one game that I will say this feels like it has upset potential considering the spread is +3. Give me the Vikings over the Saints.
It's 2.5 on Fox Sports.
Is it two
I
and a
know
half?
it says 3 on it says 3 on ESPN. Close enough.
I'm gonna have to flip a coin on this one.
Oh, for God's sake.
I gotta. Where the fuck is it? 2.5.
I'm sorry, Nick.
You don't want me to take it. I'll take a college football upset.
You can take. What's your CFP upset?
Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Georgia Tech over Clemson.
Ooh!
Hey.
I want to look how wild this is. I want to look at it's ACC.
Clemson's favored by 14.
Wow.
I
Georgia.
mean, Georgia
Tech.
Tech's been very unpredictable. They are a very unpredictable team, and to be honest, even though Clemson did beat the frauding Irish, I still got Clemson. I still cannot trust them.
Frauding Irish.
It's true. It's true.
The frauding Irish. That's so stupid. The fraud. Yeah.
It's not true though.
You're not wrong. Oh, you're not wrong. The frauding.
Now you've done it, Nick. You broke it.
So
Yeah,
I
I
should
know.
be
Look at me.
laughing at this. The frauding. Okay, well, Kurtz, I'm gonna take Tampa Bay, and I'm gonna take Arizona. Those are my wild cards.
Alright, so I'm pretty sure you can already guess one of my wild cards.
Yeah, I've already put it in.
So I'm gonna pick. So for my other wild card, I'm gonna pick Baltimore.
All right,
Guys, quick question.
quick answer.
How the fuck are the Canucks in second place?
Dude, we're so back. Rick, okay, but we'll get more
combination
into.
of
We'll get
higher
more into.
talent and less toxicity.
We'll get more into it, but Rick Tocchet has basically a 75 point percentage since he's joined the Canucks.
You beat the Senators, the Oilers, the Sharks, and the Preds. Or bottom feeders. Never mind. I see why now.
Dude, they're gonna beat the Leafs,
They
man.
beat the Stars though. They beat the Stars. The
Really
Stars are
beat
good.
the
Being
We
the
shut
Stars is pretty
out
much
the
a default
Stars.
unless you're the Oilers or the Flyers.
The Pacific is very cutthroat this year.
Well, I mean,
it's bad. It's horrible.
you remember that?
Bad outside of
You have the
Vancouver.
Knights. You have the Knights that are, the Knights. You have the
Yep.
Kings that are a rising team. You have the Ducks that have a ton of young talent that 2 years ago they looked promising. Then last year happened, but now finally
It's back to
we are
promising.
seeing it.
Yeah, it's back to
We're
promising.
seeing it. The
Knights won the
Kraken
cup. But the thing that I will quickly say about the Pacific, it's top heavy.
Yeah,
It's
very top heavy.
Top heavy. You got
It's top
Vancouver. You got Vancouver, the Knights, the Ducks, and the Kings, who are all top tier. Kraken are struggling. They're without their second line. The Kraken are without their second line. The Sharks are the Sharks. Calgary and Edmonton are having seasons from hell.
The Kraken are a playoff contending team.
We are,
Even
but
though they have pieces.
we
But
have
they still
pieces,
need
but
that
I think they might need another year. They're not there
Yeah,
yet.
Just injured
Yeah, they're
as
not yet.
shit right
They're
now.
not there yet.
Fringe wildcard, yeah. The Flames are a mediocre team.
More like the lames, am I right?
Oh, did you not hear the sickos breaking news?
What?
Zadina
One of
wants
their players
traded.
requested a trade. Yeah, one of their players requested a trade after the game tonight.
Yeah, Flames, think of it this way. In Chaos League in this first season of 2.0, we won the Stanley Cup. You outdueled as Neil in the semifinals.
Who?
Yeah, you
Who
made it all the way
requested
to
a
this. You made it all the way to the semis. So, yay. Alright, Nick, who are
I
your two
should,
picks this week?
Okay, my wildcard picks: Ravens over the Browns, and well, this pick worked out well for me last week. Give me the Raiders over the Jets.
Ooh, oh fuck, that's Sunday Night Football. Oh no, that's right, it's Sunday Night Football.
Oh my god.
That's right, Spencer, who are your two games?
We
Um,
are not
for-
watching that movie.
All right, for one of them, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna take the Vikings beating the New Orleans Saints because one, Skull Vikings, and two, fuck the Saints and everybody that was on that 2009 team.
Alright, what was your other one?
My other one, I'm gonna take the what a shitty week.
It is bad.
I'm gonna take the Jets over the Raiders.
I wish we could have done pick'ems earlier if I could have chosen the Bears before Thursday.
But now it's on to our.
Well, Alza needs
works.
to make his two wild card picks.
Oh
What?
my god, I'm so sorry.
What's up?
This is why he brought the North Stars back. Anyways, Alza, who are your two picks?
Fuck you.
The North Stars are
Real
back,
right there,
boys. It's real. They're back.
I was like, let's be the Chicago Wolves, and he was like, I think it's taken. I was like, okay, well, I want to do something funny. I was like, I have an idea for you.
I have an idea for your
Oh my
Chicago
God.
team. Let's bring back the North Stars.
Go fuck yourself.
I'm gonna go. Shit. Ooh, Texans Bengals is probably the only good game here. I'm gonna go Bengals. They've been in a really hot streak, good hot streak.
All right.
Let's go Yikes. I don't want to choose Saints Vikings because if the Vikings can get that like 30 plus point game that they had that other week, that's not good for me. Browns Ravens, Ravens could just stall out of nowhere. Yikes! What do we get here?
Decision. We can't take the Giant. We can't
It's
pit
a
the.
horrible week.
There's nothing. These games are just. Bleh.
Packers Steelers? Seriously?
Uh,
That's
I
gonna
will
be a
also
tough
take any CFB games, but I'm making the spread under 3.
49ers against Jaguars. I mean, like, hey, look, 49ers
oh,
can get
can I
their
say
shit
something
together,
about this
but not-
49ers game?
Hmm?
In my opinion, this is do or die for San Francisco. Like,
No, it's more of a,
Not
No.
yet.
No. It's
more
too
of a get your
early.
shit together.
Yeah. More like get your shit
And
together.
then next week, if they don't get their shit together, then it's they still did the division.
they're
So they
running
still have
thin
a
on
better
excuses, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, here's the thing. Until
fair
Debo
enough.
Samuel is declared out for the season, they're fine. Their entire offense runs through Debo Samuel, man.
Debo's back, by the way.
So yeah,
Yeah,
they'll be
Debo's back.
fine.
Yeah, Debo is back. Trent Williams is questionable.
But I think the Jags could do this. I just want to. The Jags need that consistency, though. At the end of the day, you know what? Fuck it. We wildcard it and chuck it deep, just like Will Levis will do. Titans will win against the Bucks.
Swag. All right, that's the pick'ems. Diddly-doo. I don't have an official record. I'm too lazy to count.
I
But-
don't even watch.
But now, something better than having to deal with those awful, yucky pick'ems. It's time for the weather report.
I again have not been outside in 7 days.
Really? Alright, I guess.
Well, sorry, it's a lie. I walked to work for orientation. I've not stepped outside since then.
How was
Alright.
the weather then?
I don't know.
It was room
Did you find
temperature.
a website?
I don't know. I mean,
Bruh,
sometimes sun, sometimes rain. I literally have not
This
been.
is a
Wuthering
pro
Christ,
moment.
the internet was invented for reasons to find out what the weather is like.
Okay, fine. Let me go find.
Yeah, this is a pro moment.
Wait,
by
actually, I have. Hold on.
scale
I have.
of
Let me
1 to
pull up the. It's on my computer. Let me just pull this. Let me just do this. Let me. We are. See monthly forecast. It has been sometimes rain, sometimes sun, but mostly rain. It's been wet. There you go.
I have. Yeah. Alright, so here in Chicago, we had 3 days where it was nice out of nowhere. 50, 60 degree weather. And then today we went back to low 40s. Alright. And then the sun just disappeared and we went even lower. And it was how the sun sets like after like 5:15 now. Like it's yeah. It is just quite cold here. No rain though. I was looking at my YouTube and I just saw Mariners should get Cody Bellinger, and it came out 6 hours ago and only has 16 views.
You should. Well, I'm just sitting back and waiting.
I think we
Yeah,
all
we'll
are.
have a lot to talk about regarding baseball. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
What about Vegas weather though?
Vegas weather, right now in terms of like right at this minute, temperature right now is around pretty sure it's like 50 or something. Like it's pretty 51 right now. Yeah, 51. It's pretty chill for Vegas weather in terms of like, like terms of like, you know what, this is once again this is the kind of weather where it's like, you know what, I'm okay with this. This is bit more chilly for our standards, but you know what? I take it. I take this kind of weather. Mostly as of late, weather's been like in the low 70s, high 60s, and at nighttime it's been in like the mid to low 50s. Sometimes falls into the 40s, and that's basically gonna remain the trend for most probably for the rest of the week or so, probably into next week. I mean, all I know is that after Thanksgiving, in some places around the country, it's going to be getting really cold. That's what I've been hearing about.
Here in Grand Rapids, homie, it's snowing. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's fucking snowing.
What?
Brother.
Nice.
Yeah,
Mm.
like fucking it's been like wet and wild here for the past few days. Like we had a wicked fucking rainstorm on Wednesday. Like no cap. Like I was
Damn.
waiting for the bus and I got fucking drenched to shit, man. And yeah, it's been consistently like we had a nice day of like the 60s, but it's dipped hard into like highs of the lower 50s, upper 40s, and just wet and messy out there.
How messy, Lionel?
Like we're talking like fucking Boris Johnson's hair messy, bro.
Side note: Philip Zadina would welcome. Who's with Philip Zadina looking to be traded out of Calgary. Word is the pending UFA defenseman would welcome a move to
That was Nikita Zadorov
Toronto.
who's being traded. That was Nikita Zadorov. Zadina's a shark.
Sorry, with Nikita Zadorov. Right in between. Yeah, yeah.
Another classic Luke misspell moment.
Whatever. The guy that wants to get traded would welcome a move to Toronto.
That's funny. That's very funny because Steve Daniels' tweet becomes true. It's becoming more true. It's like, we should just do a fuck it trade and just say, you know what, y'all move to this team while y'all are still here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, I do want to add on in terms of the weather report that yeah, we could there is a good chance we're gonna be seeing rain later this week, like Thursday, Friday, and maybe Saturday, which is could be a shit show considering this upcoming week we have F1 in town.
Ooh.
Yeah, we have Formula 1 in town. And that's been a ginormous fucking shit show here in Vegas. Let's just say that. Like that, if things go bad enough, that could be a welcome match segment.
I look
Oh,
forward
shit.
to it. I look forward
Damn.
to it.
Like, I've heard, like,
Anyways,
nothing but bad things, especially how like ticket prices have just been sinking like a brick.
Oh, it's been falling like a motherfucker. It's been.
what are
it's
tickets?
like-
What are tickets right now?
So here's the thing. I know this will still sound expensive because it is, but right now tickets are like for like the main race are like $750. Here's the thing. That's an 88% drop.
I mean, 750 is not bad even.
I mean,
Like,
it's
It's an event that's like it that doesn't like F1 doesn't come to Vegas very often. Isn't this like their first time, right?
This is well, there used to be an F1 race in like the early 80s, which took place in the Caesars Palace parking lot. Now, obviously, that didn't last long because, yeah, F1 racing in the Caesars Palace parking lot doesn't sound that great. However, this race is taking place on the Strip, so, yeah, you can imagine, definitely a lot more increased prices here, and I just gotta say, considering how that one time how I showed what the menu prices were for when F1 was in Miami, I'm definitely interested in seeing what the menu prices will be when they come to Vegas.
I am very curious of that too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shit show, and I'm
It's-
eagerly waiting to see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be. I want to know everything because it just has all of the ingredients to be a complete disaster. And the tickets, what were the tickets originally? Like, my guess is since they were down 88, it's
Like,
almost
they were in the multiple thousands of dollars.
like
they
60,
were-
70, $7,000.
Like probably around that range. Wouldn't surprise me if they were around that range, but they were massively expensive, even for F1 standards.
But now they've done the metal pipe sound effect meme. Just
Yeah. I've just done it over and over again.
Yeah. Wow. Like I can imagine tickets like if their tickets as low as 500, I'd be slightly more interested, but they're having trouble selling tickets. Cause like I when I hear F1, like I don't tend to not hear, very many good things. Like they're trying to rake people who rent out hotel rooms. Like they want to set up blockers in front of like people's hotel rooms because they would get a view of the race, and they want people to pay ridiculous prices for it.
I mean, the funniest part about it is how they put up window film over the pedestrian bridges on the Strip, and like a day or two later, they found out that the window film had gotten torn apart by Vegas locals.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
That's desperation
Oh,
already.
this is gonna be
is
such
like
a
an
shit
all-time
show.
It's
Yeah,
an
this is a-
all-time shitstorm because, like, not even people who don't even follow motorsports are hearing about how bad this is.
yeah, shit. This is
Lord.
we're actually under a Brunado warning.
Yeah, basically.
There's Brunado, and then there's whatever the hell's going on yet again, because F1 thinks, like, what are these? I don't get with these sporting events. They come along thinking that they're all that, and thinking that, I understand that they have a product, and F1 is, one of the top racing products, but the USA has NASCAR, which is very popular with many with racing fans in the USA. And a lot of
See you guys
them.
later. Kind
Alright.
of late on my side. Yeah.
Alright, later,
Alright,
dude.
Mazda, see ya.
There you go.
See you guys.
But like the thing that I don't understand what F1 to me it just struggles with is that I feel like they don't know that the USA has a strong NASCAR market, right?
I mean, the thing is, the way I see it as, like, because I'm without a doubt the biggest motorsports fan here. I mean, you will see me talk about motorsports basically all the time. The thing with F1 is you have to remember their popularity in America, like, it was basically steady for a while, but obviously these past couple years it has really grown because of the fact that they managed to capitalize on the popularity of their Netflix series, Drive to Survive, which has basically been a huge success for them, and other sports have tried copying that model. In fact, you could argue that the recent the NFL quarterback series is kind of based off of that F1 model, and it ended up generating a lot of popularity to the series, especially in 2021 and 2022, because people saw this series. And you know how Netflix users can be. Hey, they see something, they become very interested in it. The problem is, this year, the popularity is definitely really flatlined and not really grown for a multitude of reasons, mainly because, you know, the hype's kind of wearing down, the fad's wearing down, and also the fact that literally every race is dominated by Max Verstappen, who literally just does his Thanos pose and just wins every single race like it's nothing. So
See,
a lot to yeah. It's literally like, you know, it's literally like Red Bull is basically like the Man City right now of Formula One, if that's the best way to sum it up.
basically, and I thought F1 only got popular because of the memes like Spinella, which got spammed a shit ton.
Yeah. Yeah, that was yeah, definitely like good marketing and good, obviously memes would help anything, but yeah, it's just I feel like the problem with F1 is they're making the same mistake that not only like I would argue like NASCAR made in the mid 2000s, which ended up hurting their popularity in the long run, but also F1 themselves made the 80s when they were coming to America. Like it feels like they're trying way too hard to gimmick to certain things, and also they price out fans. And as you can imagine, pricing out fans is leading to many people not wanting to buy tickets.
Me when the me when me when I price out the fans I want to draw to my sport. There it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, it's a complete shitstorm, and it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens this upcoming week, because I expect nothing but chaos and stupidity.
I mean, yeah. Have fun, F1. You guys sound, and it feels like this particular group is hopeless right now. How I kind of feel they're not in a good state. Especially if you're now like lowering tickets to the point where there's a Luna like crash scenario. You know, it doesn't bode well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're opening the floodgates to a bunch of grass touchers, bro.
Yeah. But
Big
that sums it up
time.
well.
Oh,
Big
and
time.
we have one more weather report to get to. I don't believe Aiden has said anything about what the weather's like in the Bay Area.
All I can say is right now I'm wearing 2 layers of shirts, a sweater, and a shark sweater because I'm a masochist.
What? It's like 18 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, dude. Like, dude, it was like 38 degrees out, and I was
It's
wearing
mostly
like 3 layers max, bro.
I'm still wearing shorts if it's 18 degrees Celsius.
I'm gonna be honest. I just wore the Sharks jersey just because I wanted to. 2 to 3 layers is fine.
Yeah, it's fine, but like two. Yeah, no, it's the 2 layers part. If it's like a shirt and a Sharks jersey, it's fine. It's fine, but like,
yeah,
bro's wearing 3 layers of clothes. Holy
Oh, obviously some
smokes.
pants to go with that. We don't need a lawsuit on our hands.
yeah. I mean, well, to be fair, I'm wearing my Adidas jersey, and it kind of fits a little big, so I have to wear like a sweater underneath.
You are wearing pants, right?
Yes, I am. What the hell do you think I am?
Bruh.
You think Winnie the Pooh?
He's not winning. Don't worry, Spencer. I can assure you that this man is not going to be winning the pooing, especially at his profession.
You think you're talking to freaking Squidward here?
He's not Squidward tennis ballsing it, Spencer.
All right, so I think it's time for the welcome mat. I think I'm well situated now.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, So I'm pretty sure y'all know the theme of this podcast right now. This episode, we're talking about shitty teams, right? Well, I can tell you this right now. I follow a shitty team myself. The San Jose Sharks. I'm sure y'all are familiar with the concept of shitty teams. Nick,
Yep.
your Bears. Let's just say, oof. Your Bulls.
Yeah, it's falling off.
Luke. I don't know if I could really consider them bad, but I mean the Mariners have been down bad, and
We're 50. Sorry, we're 54% sure we're down bad.
yeah, and too bad Azel isn't here anymore because I would have talked about
The White Sox.
how about the White Sox and the Bears. But
what about me?
I don't think you have any shitty teams, to be honest.
It's more like a different kind of heartbreak where it's like, oh hey, we're gonna do the thing. Oh no, they shit the bed in the last minute
And got eliminated to the North Stars.
Time to test out if my toaster is waterproof.
Alrighty. So
Okay.
I'm sure y'all know how it means to be down bad. Well, let me give you a glimmer of hope. I followed a team that was pretty down bad way back then, but now, let's just say they're the most hated team in the NBA for a reason. I'm sure y'all know who it is. The Golden State Warriors, the team that I endlessly nag Luke about following. But let's be honest.
Waiting for the Sonics to come back.
I will never be a Warriors fan.
Let's be honest though, if it was like 15 years ago, I wouldn't be even recommending the Warriors to anyone, not even my worst enemy. Because by the way, you know how the Sharks are right now? That's how the Warriors were 15 years ago. In fact, the Warriors were pretty down bad for a long ass time. You wanna know how many times they made the playoffs? From 1994 to 2011? Wanna know how many times?
Once.
Ding 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 ding. You're correct.
And I remember that year. That was the We Believe Warriors, and they were fun to watch.
That was like the one time I was not ashamed to be a Warriors fan during that time period.
That was right when the Pistons were starting to fall off, and so everybody in my town was like, basketball, they're a bunch of overpaid divas. I'm just gonna go watch the Lions lose a bunch of games.
So, you know how bad the Warriors were? It wasn't just missing the playoffs. Let's just say our front office during that time, I'm gonna say this right now, they make Billy King seem like fucking Bob Myers. That's all I can say. Now, let me run down some shitty decisions. Now, this was before the down bad period, but we broke up Run TMC, Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullen. We traded away Mitch Richmond for Billy Owens because apparently we needed size. Richmond wound up balling out for the Kings, and Billy Owens was a bum for the Warriors. Then 1995, got first overall pick. We had a chance to grab Kevin Garnett first overall. You know who we picked? Joe fucking Smith. Who? Exactly.
That doesn't even sound like a basketball name. Like, Joe Smith. He sounds like somebody who'd prepare my taxes. Like,
that's how bad we were. And 1996, we had a chance to draft either Kobe, rest in peace, or a Bay Area sporting dude in Steve Nash. He played for Santa Clara University. You know who we drafted? Some bum named Todd Fuller. I'm sure none of y'all. Now that is a tax preparer's name.
Yeah.
And then later on, we a chance to get T-Mac. Who did we draft? Adonal Foyle, who my dad had a bad experience with. And that's not just being bad drafters. We also had some really bad free agency decisions. I mean, Andres Biedrins was an okay center who we drafted. Then we extended him to a huge contract. Once he got the money, he completely forgot to play how to play basketball. And we had, and you know, on the one times we didn't shit ourselves in the draft, we drafted Gilbert Arenas. Unfortunately, we couldn't keep hold of him because we spent all our money on guys like Mookie Blaylock and Terry Cummings, who were way past their prime and not that good anymore. And to top it all off, we also had really bad off the court incidents. Latrell Sprewell, one of our better players in the 90s, wound up choking his goddamn coach in practice. Choking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Yep.
talking about the Sharks kind of choke. I'm talking about using his hands to freaking strangle Coach PJ Carlisle. And
Yep, I remember that story.
remember the We Believe team? Monte Ellis, one of the like cornerstones. Dude rode a fucking moped and got injured. That pretty much ruined our 2008-09 season, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That would be good news, though, in the long run. I'll explain to you guys why in a bit, but yeah.
I remember,
Yep.
The Browns had a similar incident to that. I want to say it was
Kellen
like,
Winslow,
yeah, Kellen Winslow Sr. He
Jr.
also got into a. No, Winslow Jr. is the guy who got caught masturbating in a Boston market.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
And
anyways,
that's me using the nicer story about him, dude.
even if you were in the Bay, there was really no reason to watch the Warriors back then. I mean, early on in our period of sucks during the mid-90s, you know who won a freaking Super Bowl? The 49ers. And you know who else was starting to become good at that time? The Rich Gannon Raiders with Chucky Gruden. Who else was getting good as the decade went from the 90s to the 2000s? Two teams with drastically different philosophies. The big spending giants who put all their faith behind a certain slugger named Barry Bonds. They went to a World Series, they lost it, but you know what? It's more than the Warriors did during that time. Then the A's became good because of some nice thing called Moneyball. And then once all the teams started to get down bad, there was a certain team in teal that actually started to become good. Thanks to a stupid trade by Boston and a certain Patrick Marlowe guy, the Sharks were pretty much the Bay Area's best team during the late 2000s. And they were that until the Giants won the World Series in 2010. So basically, there was really no reason to watch the Warriors unless you were a diehard. And yet people came to games. We were getting piped by 30 points and Oracle Arena was still packing. But they were a meme. You guys want to hear a joke from the 2000s about Bay Area teams?
Sure.
The Warriors.
Why don't the Warriors have a website?
Because I can't string 3 W's together.
Ding 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 ding.
I remember hearing that joke about the Tigers and also the Lions and also the Pistons at some point and also the Red Wings were like the only savior at that point.
Yeah. Well, let's just say that those days are way past. But how did that happen? You did mention We Believe, Spencer, and that was part of it. That being said, the core from We Believe, Baron Davis, Jay Rich, Monte Ellis, Andres Biedrins, Al Harrington, they didn't really last that long. Because right after that season, we traded away Jay Rich to the Charlotte Bobcats. Yes, that's how bad the Dubs were. We wound up like trading away our best players after our best season. However, there were two things that we kind of learned from the We Believe era. First of all, the effectiveness of run and gun and small ball. More on that later. And later on, we also had a guy that could potentially be our foundational piece for the future at Monte Ellis. However, that would turn out to be a false hope because 2009, the Warriors were utter garbage, especially because Ellis crashed his fucking moped. However, there was a certain draft in 2009 where the Warriors had the 7th overall pick. We all thought we wouldn't get much, but the Timberwolves are goddamn idiots and drafted Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn back to back. Y'all know who we drafted 7th overall in 2009? Take a guess.
Kristaps Porzingis, baby! Pinkus Pinkus! The Eastern European sensation!
We're talking about the Warriors, not the Knicks, but yeah, we drafted Steph Curry, 7th overall because the Timberwolves are goddamn idiots.
But I wanted Pink Tingus Pinkus.
But it wasn't Steph that was the only one that we drafted. 2011, 2 years later, we realized that Ellis and Curry weren't really gelling together, so we drafted another guard, a shooting guard by the name of Klay Thompson. Then the year after, 2012 was a relatively underrated draft for us Dubs fans. Early on, we drafted Harrison Barnes 7th overall. I mean, he was alright, but not exactly a star. Then we drafted Festus Ezeli at the end of this first round. Who is he? I mean, he announces games to the Warriors nowadays. But
Yeah, and he has
the magic
one of the more. But I just want to say with Festus Ezeli, he has one of the most infamous NBA Twitter tweets of all time with his "Thank You Warriors" video, which is so pixelated you think it was filmed on a toaster.
But the biggest star of the 2012 draft happened to be the 35th overall pick, a guy who would probably be a huge fucking nightmare on the hockey rink as well. Draymond Green, kicker of balls and defender of opposing teams. But it wasn't just a draft in which we built our team. During the 2010s offseason, we signed a certain dude named David Lee. We didn't really pick him up for that much because he played for the Knicks, and the Knicks were blah, and the Warriors, they just needed a guy who wasn't terrible. Then, with Steph and Klay starting to form a duo, we realized we didn't need Monte Ellis anymore, so we traded him to the Milwaukee Bucks. Sorry, Spencer. For Andrew Bogut. Let's just say the trade was a huge risk back then, given Bogut's injury history. But speaking of which, the Bogut trade showed one thing that the Warriors wanted to emphasize going forward: defense. Ellis was pretty much, excess goods now that Steph and Klay were going to be our backcourt of the future, so we decided to trade him away for some defensive depth. And let's just say Ellis wasn't exactly a star for the Bucks, but Bogut, he wasn't a star, but he was one of our defensive anchors during our early dynasty. Then, all the pieces gelled together a bit. 2012 to 2013, we finally made the playoffs, but we weren't done. We were starting to become legit, so we made another big free agency signing in Andre Iguodala. So people were wondering, we have Harrison Barnes already, why get Andre Iguodala? More on that later. Now here's the thing.
Andre Iguana, my favorite player.
Now here's the thing. Around this time, actually just a year after we drafted Steph, the Warriors actually had a big change. Gunn was former owners, Chris Cohan, who was, let's just say he was John Fisher, but without the movement rumors. We swapped him for Joe Lacob.
He had a foul movement.
We swapped him for Joe Lacob, a venture capitalist who actually wanted to fucking win. This is a guy who's willing to pay the luxury tax just so he can watch the Warriors dominate everyone else in the NBA. This is a guy that you want as an owner. He doesn't melt too much, but he loves to spend money. That's a good owner, that right there. And also another big change we had, 2014, we were a playoff team, but we weren't exactly getting anywhere. We got bounced in the first round by the Clippers. So we made a very controversial decision. We fired Mark Jackson and brought in Steve Kerr. How controversial was that? Well, apart from Jackson going to bring us to playoffs for the first time in a while, Kerr didn't have any coaching experience. He was a relative newbie, and everyone was like, "Oh, damn, the Warriors are desperate. They are gonna be so screwed."
And his son is named Nick. Like, what's up with that? Does he not know that his last name is Kerr?
He goes by Nicholas now in the G League.
Thank God.
Anywho, people thought that was the end of the Warriors, especially with David Lee getting injured and us having to start a second rounder in Draymond Green, who, let's be honest, no one knew he was going to be Draymond at that time. He was just an undersized forward who could defend relatively well. However, apparently, the addition of Steve Kerr and our brand new team led to one of the greatest stretches of Warriors basketball we had seen in a while. I'd say even better than we believe, even better than Run TMC. We haven't seen the Warriors team this good since Rick Barry was on the Warriors. I'm sure you all know how that year went. Best record in the
Yep.
NBA, and we won a championship. And then
Mhm.
next year we broke the win record, but blew a 3-1 lead. However, that wound up being a godsend because guess who went to the Warriors after the off season?
The snake.
Yep, Kevin Durant. The funny thing about Kevin Durant is, if he went to the if he went to any other team, a team that didn't have the structure of the Warriors, I don't know if he would have done well team-wise. He would have got a lot of stats, but he wouldn't have gotten the success that we had.
Well, I
Speaking of the
mean,
Warriors,
look at the fact that when he was on the Nets, his foot was too big, and that lost them the series because his foot was too big.
yeah. And I gotta tell you this as well. Another one you can thank for our success, apart from our like front office moves and Kevin Durant, the Timberwolves being fucking idiots. Now, I'm sure you already talked about Steph Curry, but did you know that the Timberwolves drafted Derek Williams second overall in 2011? You know who they could have drafted instead? Klay Thompson or
Yep.
Kawhi Leonard. But yeah. And then 2014, they tried trading for Klay Thompson, but we had a consultant named Jerry West. I'm sure basketball fans know who he is, especially Lakers fans. So Jerry West was like, you know what? I'm gonna quit this damn team if you guys trade Klay Thompson. So we did trade for Klay, and then the Timberwolves wound up having to trade Kevin Love to the Cavaliers. So if you want to blame someone for the Warriors and the Cavaliers fucking the NBA for 4 years straight, blame the Timberwolves.
Yeah,
But
honestly, the main trend I'm seeing here is that, wow, Minnesota's stupid. Wow, Sacramento's stupid as well because they passed on Klay Thompson for Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah. But yeah, so even up to now, even though we don't have KD anymore, even though we've had different pieces instead of Andre Iguodala, we have Andrew Wiggins, and instead of Bogut, first we had Zaza and JaVale, and now we have Kevon Looney. Imagine that. Kevon Looney, Milwaukee native, last first rounder of 2015, is a centerpiece for a contender. Who would have known about that? Well, let me just say there's a few common variables. There are a few constants about the Warriors' continued success up to now. First of all, defense. Everyone talks about, Splash Brothers, three-pointers, they can score 100 points. In all honesty, I think none of that would have mattered if we didn't work on our defense. You see, the Warriors, when they were bad, they were okay offensively, but it was defense where was their Achilles heel. It seems like the current Warriors, starting from when they acquired Andrew Bogut from the Bucks, they've made it a point to get at least one good defender in their team. First it was Bogut and Iguodala. Then of course, Draymond Green. Then we got more defensive help like Kevon Looney, Otto Porter Jr. Let's see who else. David West, JaVale McGee. Wiggins is actually a decent defender. Who else? Jonathan Kuminga has been developing as a defender. And recently we drafted a guy named Trace Jackson Davis, who is actually pretty solid, despite being a late second rounder, especially in defense. And we can talk about all the splash threes. We can talk about all the small ball lineup. But for me, what really makes this Warriors team really good is their defense. And it's not just small ball as well. One thing about the Warriors is they love to move the ball. They pass it around a lot. Prime Barcelona is what they're like. They're like Prime Barca, just passing the ball left, right, top, bottom. They just keep passing the ball until Steph Curry gets open and shoots a three. And you know what? Teams still find it tough to stop that. And I know I had my doubts about Dunleavy, but I think he's continuing the legacy of success that Bob Myers had as GM. And
Wait, Mike Dunleavy?
Yeah, Mike Dunleavy Jr. used to be a Warrior back when we were completely fucking horrible.
Yeah, fuck Mike Dunleavy. That motherfucker ruined the Bucks for years. Like, he set us back to the goddamn Stone Age.
Yeah, well, let's just say the Warriors are built on the Timberwolves, Kings, and Bucks being down bad. So yeah, we owe you guys a gift basket.
So yeah, that's the secret, folks. If you want to be good, just find a bigger idiot.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
what can we
Yeah.
learn from
Big-
this, apart from the fact that the Timberwolves are goddamn idiots? Well, I mean, yeah, they are goddamn idiots. They gave us Andrew Wiggins for D'Lo, and Wiggins became good with us. But yeah, what we all can really learn first all of this lesson: teams don't stay bad forever. The Warriors were basically the NBA's Jaguars until recently, and now they're the NBA's Patriots. Well, back when the Patriots were good, but more accurately, they're now the NBA's Chiefs. Especially because Steph looks a
Well,
bit like Patrick Mahomes.
dynasty. There's a massive dynasty that the Warriors have been able to form because
Yeah,
of it. And even like any team can become a dynasty with with management finding legendary star talent. And then it's up to ownership to be willing to pay for it, and it has shown that dynasties can completely skyrocket your team's value. It's
yep.
especially if you've never had one. Like the Warriors, imagine if they never had that dynasty. I don't think they might be in Golden State anymore. I think they might have moved to Seattle or to Vegas because there wasn't much value in to be where they are at. But now since you have a dynasty, they're now probably almost.
Oh, even worse, even worse. They would have been another Los Angeles team. They would have been the LA
No.
Warriors.
The
Oh,
Nah,
Three
Anaheim,
best-
Anaheim. They would have gone to Anaheim.
Anaheim. I would have said either Seattle or Vegas. I
Yeah,
think that's what would have happened.
no, remember, because if they would have been down bad enough for a relocation, this would have been like the mid 2010s. And guess where everybody was moving then? Goddamn Los Angeles.
I
I
think
want
they
to
moved
say
to-
this though. Here's the thing. Hey, here's the thing to consider. That like back in 2010, the Golden State Warriors were valued at like 450 million. Right now, in 2023, they're valued at 7.7 billion.
It's what dynasties do. Look at the Patriots. They're a top 3 NFL franchise in terms of value. I think they're number 2 behind the Cowboys. I think.
yeah. So, and the thing is, it's
Pretty
not just the
sure.
Warriors that had this like journey. You know who else was complete dog shit, but they became really good? The Seahawks. Back in the 90s, there were even rumors about moving the team to fucking Anaheim,
Well,
and they became good.
The thing about the Seahawks is that they got a new owner that actually like Paul Allen. Like he is such a fan favorite in Seattle. Like when he passed away, the city was absolutely devastated because he was the one man that genuinely cared about the Seahawks, and especially when he took over, when you have an owner that is not owner but a fan of the team as well, you get really good stuff that happens. I mean, see, the fact that Seattle's been to 3 Super Bowls and I've got to see all of them in my lifetime is an absolute honor. Like from the Mike Holmgren era all the way to the Pete Carroll era. It has been a really good eras of Seahawk football to really watch. I mean, we've got quarterbacks like Hasselbeck, Russell Wilson, phenomenal running backs like Sean Alexander, Marshawn Lynch, Chris Carson. Like, this team has produced a lot of fan favorites. It's why I've loved Seattle so much. It's the ownership cares about it. They will be sold at some point, and I hope the new caretakers of this group will be fans, not just owners. I would rather have my NFL owner be a fan of my team than just the owner.
Yeah.
I mean, also
yeah.
to note too, Microsoft is booming in lots of areas, so I'm pretty sure they would want to have a valuable sports market. It's a valuable sports market. Like there's some I went to a buddy's wedding that was in the Seattle area, and man, it's booming because of Microsoft.
Yep. So yeah,
else was down bad in ownership, believe it or not? the
What?
Vikings until 2005. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'd
Like,
say
Red
I'd say yes and no on that. I mean, the Vikings had Randy Moss. You had some guys to look forward to. Like,
yeah, but you don't remember how shitty Red McCombs ran the team. Like, he regularly threatened to move the team to Birmingham, Alabama, and one day Randy Moss came to his office and said, "Hey, I think we should invest on defense for this team." And you know how Red responded? He said, "Don't tell
Trading.
me how to do my job," and then traded him to Oakland for pennies on the dollar.
Dear
and
Lord.
here's the thing: owners can make absolutely could make plenty of petty moves. I mean, I don't consider there. There needs. I gotta watch Dorktown on the Vikings. I've really gotta watch that. I gotta watch that. That's something I
Yeah.
gotta watch. I need to get a better knowledge base of it, but I don't consider like that era of Vikings foot sure people have like spouted bad ownership, but when I think of like really bad ownership, look at the Maple Leafs
Oh, the
and
Harold. Well, the
Harold
Harold
Ballard
Ballard era
era.
is going to be undefeated for a very long time. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
Uh,
dude ran a pedophile ring at Maple Leaf Gardens. It does
that's hard
not
to
get
beat.
worse than that.
You can't think of anything because there really isn't anything that can beat it. It's like, I mean, I could say Washington because there was some scummy things that Washington was doing. The fact that they're finally free of that ownership, and that was like 2 decades worth of just horrifyingly bad football. I feel like if any owner tells people who to draft, it's bad. That's your bad sign. Like Panthers, like David Tepper told them to draft Bryce Young. At the time, more people, even more people who were looking at the draft, were leaning towards Bryce over Stroud. At the time.
Yeah, I think people are just saying Bryce Young was a bad decision because of hindsight.
Yeah, because hindsight now is just
Yeah.
horrible. But
Hindsight's 2020.
But you now have 2 fired head coaches under David Tepper. This team really doesn't have a single direction of where to go. It's hoping that to God that Bryce Young develops in such a dysfunctional system. Like if they've never signed Adam Thielen, I think this team would be it would be the worst thing imaginable. Like
Also,
I do want
I
to
have
say,
some-
but hold on, before we get to Carolina, I also want to say, I do want to say, like for as much shit as as much shit as I've given the Ricketts in the past, whether it be due to their handling of the Cubs or off the field stuff, there's no question about it. They are definitely better owners than the Chicago Tribune Company was, which really says something considering that in the process of allowing the corporate parent to hand the team to new owners, the Cubs filed for bankruptcy in 2009.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have to
don't
remember
forget
how
about
much of a
that.
lolcow the Cubs were until
Yeah.
the Ricketts came along. Like,
Oh yeah, it was bad. Like it was for as much as I said, for the Ricketts flaws, for as many flaws as they can have sometimes, they are far better than the Chicago Tribune Company ever was at running this team.
like, that Steve Bartman catch was emblematic of what the Cubs were like all throughout that time.
Yeah, just even if it's just one thing, the way I saw it, it's like one thing goes wrong, that the entire deck of cards ends up falling down, and every time you try and put it back up, it falls down again. That's how I see it.
yeah. I mean, I think we can
But,
head
yeah.
to our main subject of teams that are just down, bad. And sticking in the baseball realms, Chicago White Sox.
Oh boy, that team is.
Yeah.
Oh, brother,
Oh,
this guy
Jesus.
stinks.
Like the fact that they didn't pick up any of the player options to just trade them, get something as they're these guys are going to cast them off in free agency. Alrighty then, I
And,
I am.
and the icing on top is that they sent their play-by-play guy packing, bro. Like,
Yeah, to their division rival in Detroit.
bruh.
Like, and apparently it's because Jerry Reinsdorf shit. Like, genuinely, it has Jerry written all over it, like it always does.
How
It's
many times with this team? How many times?
the fact that there's a billboard that is in close proximity of the stadium that says "Sell the team, Jerry," and the billboard's paid off by fans. The White Sox don't even have a team. All the guys that all those players that they spent that they've invested in during their rebuild. Well, guess what? They're gone. There's nothing left on this team.
Hope you guys remember 2021 when they accidentally won the division by default.
Yeah, let it be known, like, this was the core they had built for years. That for years, I had heard hype about this core, that this team was gonna one day be a World Series team for the White Sox. All the young players, all the talent, the potential here. And all they got out of it was literally one playoff win. That's it.
It's pathetic. Like, this is what bad management does. I mean, especially when you look at just baseball fans for baseball in general, where it feels like in baseball there is way too many bad owners in this sport. It's
I feel like in terms of this, let me say this. In terms of the White Sox, I just want to say this is another. It's the bad ownership, the bad front office. You have an owner who doesn't give a shit. Jerry Reinsdorf, after he won in 2005, clearly stopped giving a shit about the White Sox. It's clear to anyone. I mean, that 2005 World Series, and this is not to disrespect the team, because it's incredible. They were a great team that year. That is, in my opinion, the luckiest. That may be the luckiest title I've seen in sports. Because let's not lie, if the White Sox don't win that title, their drought, they are literally. Hold on, I want to see how long their drought would be if they hadn't won that title. Okay, 1917. Like if it was not for that title, they'd be on the verge of eclipsing the Cubs World Series drought. That's how bad it's
100 years.
Yeah, and they'd 100% be packing their bags for.
Oh, I think they'd be moving. I even still think that a move. I would never rule a move for Southside. I don't think I would ever rule a move out for it because there's just too many potential markets to dig into. And if you look at it this way, if Jerry sees it this way, it's, well, I've already pissed off Chicago so much. Let's see if I can piss off this other market.
I'm gonna be real though. Jerry should. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I feel like if that happens, Jerry is just gonna retire from that shit, which he honestly should.
He should
have retired by now. I mean, I've seen it as well, even not as a White Sox fan, but I've seen it with the Bulls in the state that we're in. Like, this is the Jerry Reinsdorf effect right here.
Yeah.
One good year.
2 teams that he's ruined.
Like, one good year, that's it. Just one good year. He should have
sold the teams in the 2000s. Like, he stopped caring after all those championships, and it's just, you know what? That's fine and all. You got your titles and stuff, but if you're not gonna care, then at the very least, just give ownership to someone who actually will care for the time being. Now that you've gotten your titles and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't just be like OMG DeMar DeRozan.
I mean, even that too. When you look at the White Sox, I mean, they were like one of the earliest teams in the MLB, right?
Yes.
So with that, you're gonna sell it for a pretty penny. I mean, if you just don't do anything with it, the value is gonna go up stably. But I still find it hard to imagine that there's no way as an owner you don't want your team to achieve some form of success, and the only way to do it is if you have grown-ups in the business to where you look at it and go, yeah, we should be making sure we invest in many players and personnel as we can, especially if we, their household, if they were brought up in our system. and to completely turn our backs, not even just trade them away. At least get something, build something. There's nothing to build in the White Sox. I don't even think White Sox should be cheering for their teams because what are they going to do? Get Ohtani? No. They're not going to get Ohtani. They're not going to get anybody in free agency. They're going to sit with their thumbs up their ass. They're going to trade Dylan Cease in the offseason. I just can't stand seeing teams like this. It's going to be a complete gutting of it. And they're going to look at that because Jerry sees what the Oakland Athletics are able to do with bottoming out their payroll. You're still making $80 million a year.
That's the funny thing, because the White Sox are cheap as hell, and yet they're still losing money.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think you can get people to show up to that stadium even when you're selling tickets for $1. Like,
Well, yeah, if they're gonna show up, they're gonna be telling you to fuck off. They're gonna be telling you to sell the fucking team.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, the White Sox, the Bulls, and the Bears are all in the same seat. They're just waiting for their owner to either fuck off or die.
It's the same because, like, the Bulls, like Michael Jordan, the legacy of that, and it's just like, yeah, we're just gonna just live off of just that legacy alone and just not do anything about the rest of our teams.
I mean, the closest the Bulls came was obviously in the early 2010s with, guys like Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Jimmy Butler, all that good stuff. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough, whether it be due to, powerhouses in the East, aka LeBron James, and also the fact that the basketball gods told Derrick Rose to fuck off, which, yeah you already know what I mean, but...
And then classic D-Rose became getting injured.
Yeah, and then, of course, Bulls have been stuck in either mediocrity since around 2015, or they're just flat out bad, which is, the situation the Bulls are teetering on right now.
It's one good year, and then it's just being completely undone. Like, the fact that they can't build off of even just a glimpse of success is insane. Because I thought, in 2021, the Bulls with 2021 or 2022.
It's 2022, but I mean, like, the Bulls, as I said before, the Bulls had a strong, first half and all that. Great first half of the season. Guys like Zach LaVine still doing well. DeMar DeRozan being great. Alex Caruso bringing a lot to the team, and obviously Lonzo Ball doing well, which feels very similar to what happened with Derrick Rose, because Lonzo Ball's leg decided to get shot by the basketball gods, just like Derrick Rose. And we still don't know if Lonzo's going to play another game again. So yeah, ever since then the Bulls have been stuck in mediocrity, which is also as I would describe it, the process of continuity. Yeah, that, which is literally just being stuck in mediocrity.
I mean, even then, I feel like in basketball, it's one of the hardest things because it's not just one prospect that you have to hit on. I feel like it's a lot of prospects you have to hit on just to even contend for a title in the NBA.
Well, especially when you have an owner like Jerry, you know what your price limit is, so when you really have to nail something, you better nail it.
You have to nail it. Every pick has to hit.
NBA Mike Brown.
Yeah, hopefully Jerry heart grows size bigger and he just sells the team.
Well, yeah, actually, I do gotta say, though, regarding this, because, I definitely, obviously, let's see, where the hell is it? I don't agree with, obviously don't agree with everything he says, but I gotta admit, I agree with what Gage has to say about, the Bulls right now. They're basically in the same state as, like, when Herb Cole was the owner of the Bucks. I think that's a very great comparison.
Ooh. Ooh.
Gage nails his takes on the NBA. He's not wrong.
Well, to be fair,
I'll just say
he's
this.
the best of his bunch.
Yeah, he's actually got good takes on other teams. I just want to say that, by the way. Like, regardless of how doomer he may be, his takes on other teams are actually really good.
I worry I may be a bit too much of an optimist after I talk to him.
That's okay. But you get the point. Like, you get the
Yeah.
point with what I'm trying to say. The Bulls they just need something new.
Can
And it
I?
says something right. Wait, just one more point. It says something right now that other NBA scouts from other teams are going to Bulls games to observe the team because basically everyone in the NBA is basically thinking this team's gonna be nuked by like the beginning of December.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, Spencer, what were you trying to say?
I was about to move on to the next team I think is down bad. And that's the Cardinals. Oh my God, the Cardinals.
Well, here's the thing. If there's more, I feel like I'm going to be more positive on the Cardinals.
No, fuck them.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let's bring the good news. This is now evaluation time. Is Kyler going to be your quarterback for the next 5 years, or are we moving off of him in free agency? Is he going to bring something? This is where, if you're Arizona, you want to see, it's not just we're going to flat out tank. This is where, you looked really promising with Josh Dobbs. Now you have the same archetype. Kyler's the same archetype. You let him even recover a lot longer than I thought they were going to. This is now where, even if Kyler just finishes 4-4 as a record, you're fine. That's your he's your quarterback. They still have 2 firsts, lots to build off of. This is time to evaluate. Who do you like? Is Kyler the guy? That's what it is right now. They have the luxury to observe where this team is going to be for the future. And if Kyler's not the guy, it's going to be Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, any one of those guys.
And I would agree with you if this team wasn't owned by the fucking Bidwills, who might be like the cheapest, most dog shit owners in the NFL.
Oh, fuck the Bidwills 100%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Holy
Absolutely.
shit, have they ever made a good hire at general manager?
Well, the best thing is they got rid of the current GM had to step down. He had to step down, right?
They have that kind of a performance from Josh Dobbs, and they trade him to the Vikings for pennies on the dollar.
Well, Spencer, what it sounded like is, it sounded like for the Vikings it was an emergency trade because Kirk Cousins got hurt, and it's to get something from nothing. It's a bag of pennies. It's a backup quarterback. What, you were gonna get more than a sixth? You were gonna get more than.
Yeah, you were gonna get more than a sixth.
No, not for Josh Dobbs. Not for Josh Dobbs. It was a trade that was literal. If Kirk Cousins was not hurt, like say he got hurt a week before, right? Then yeah, I think there's value there. Since it happened so last minute, and the Cardinals were ready because Kyler Murray sounded like he was super, super close. Then it was like, here you go. Because other than that, it's maybe a fifth. It would have been Josh Dobbs and a 5th round pick. I think at the very most. The value is fine. They turned a nothing asset into a 6th round pick.
But the thing is, I don't think he was the problem with the Cardinals. It's literally everyone else.
Well, no, Josh Dobbs isn't the problem. It's because Kyler Murray's coming back. What, you're going to have Kyler Murray sit on the bench? Your franchise
but I don't
quarterback.
think Kyler Murray was going to be the... I don't think Kyler Murray, they felt like protecting him. Otherwise, they...
Well, yeah, they were not gonna not play him. The only reason you're gonna bubble wrap this guy is because you were gonna trade him, and there was no offers. There wasn't any. I mean,
why would you? And then,
no.
fucking Clayton Tune. Goddamn Clayton Tune, bro.
Well, that's because you traded Josh Dobbs because the Vikings needed a quarterback. If the Vikings ever needed a quarterback, it's still Dobbs.
And why trade Dobbs if you...
Because
Who's
you were gonna get
that
no
bad?
value. You're gonna get you either get a 6th-round pick or you get no picks. That's
And
what it
from
came
it
down
sounds
to.
like-
With the current situation of the Cardinals, you might as well suck for 1 week, considering even with Kyler back, you're not going to be doing really much.
Yeah. I'm fine with the value of Josh Dobbs trade. It's what you're gonna get a
Obviously, the bid
1st-round
woes
pick.
are fucking trash. Everyone knows the bid woes are fucking trash. It's just like, I get why they moved on considering the timing of the situation. Obviously, I know that behind the scenes, the Cardinals are not exactly the best organization to play with. It's been well documented how bad it is for players who play for the Cardinals.
Right. Imagine imagine being an NFL player and not getting your meals comped at the facility. Like,
Yeah, don't get me
holy
wrong. I
shit.
still think that's still absolutely garbage. You're not wrong. You're still garbage. I think I made it. But who was Isaiah Willie? Who was the 1st-round pick that they traded for the Giants in the offseason?
Isaiah Simmons?
Has he done anything in New York?
No. Hold on, let me
No.
check. I don't know.
What has Isaiah Simmons done in New York? And they shipped him off for
Looking.
pennies. Yeah, I know. Okay, hold up.
I'm looking.
I'm mostly upset at the Dobbs trade on behalf of the Cardinals because I remember the Eagles put the Vikings through the ringer for the Sam Bradford trade.
Well, that's because King's Ransom versus somebody that they literally got off of like a free agency signing. Whereas Sam Bradford was drafted with the 1st overall pick, and then they also drafted Carson Wentz, and of course they're going to drive up the price. You guys lost your starting quarterback to a horrific skiing accident.
Not a skiing accident. It was just a routine practice play, and he fucked up his ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's. I can see that it all is to me. I always see it is all on what's the word, context. Whereas, here's Josh Stubbs, where we literally just signed him as just a free agent. Let's turn him into an asset. Whereas, the Eagles with Sam Bradford, who's taking the 1st overall pick, so it still was going to be their starting quarterback. He was still going to be their starting quarterback. They were.
To answer the question.
Yeah.
To answer the question, no, Simmons hasn't really done anything. So just to answer that question, yeah, he really hasn't done much.
Mm-hmm. It matters just on the context of everything. Sam Bradford was the 1st overall pick. He was going to start for the team to let Carson Wentz develop, and then the Vikings felt like I think they had to offer something pretty substantial in order for them to move off of Sam Bradford. And that's what happened, and the Eagles still finished under 500 that season. They still finished under 500 with the Carson Wentz 1st season. So, it's in hindsight. It's all moves in relative hindsight. It's hard. NFL's just frustrating and complicated. It's all hecking back.
I just have no
Yeah.
I just have no faith in the current regime to do the right thing.
I don't blame you. I
You're
don't blame
right.
people for having no faith in a team owned by the Bidwells, given their history. However, I will say the Cardinals are not the only team that in the NFC that is truly down atrocious. In fact, I know we briefly talked about them, but I think it's time for a more in-depth talk about the Carolina Panthers. I think it's time.
1,000%. It's time. Last one I just want to make about the Cardinals. The Cardinals are turning it around. They have 2 1st-round picks in this upcoming draft, so I think they're on my page for turning things around. But now, Panthers. Who has anything gone right with
I will say,
the Panthers since the team got
gone
sold?
right. I will say, I'll get to that in a bit, but I just want to say, entering yesterday, and really entering after watching their game against the Indianapolis Colts, where Bryce Young just looked completely lost out there, throwing those 2 pick sixes, just having an awful game out there while the Panthers defense did all they could to keep them in it. But of course, the Panthers offense was so atrocious that it didn't matter. Entering this game, the Thursday night football. Knew damn well that this game was, regardless of who wins this game, this is going to say more about the Panthers than it does the Bears, in my opinion. That's how I felt going into this game.
Agreed.
And coming out of this game, I still feel the same way. Because, good fucking lord, the Carolina Panthers are an absolute abomination. This is, good lord, I mean, the Chicago Bears, if the Bears had faced 99% of other NFL teams, like just any other NFL team with that kind of performance they showed offensively, they lose that game without a doubt. However, the Carolina Panthers are not one of those teams. They are the kind of team that would let the Chicago Bears beat them, which we having to rely on Cairo Santos delivering just about all the points, and the Bears gained one touchdown because Deontay Foreman go burr. However, the fact of the matter is, that game really showed me just how god-awful the Carolina Panthers are. And honestly, I think that that speeding car driving by really shows the nosedive. That car driving down a hill would be a nosedive of how bad the Panthers have fallen. Because look, until 5 years ago, I had not viewed the Carolina Panthers, even though they have had some awful seasons in their history, like 2001 or 2010. I had never viewed the Panthers as a true bottom feeder in terms of being a franchise or, a poverty organization. But these past 5 years have definitely changed all that. I mean, let's look at the Panthers and their record since they last made the playoffs in 2017 when they lost in the wild card round to the Saints.
Holy shit!
2018.
The playoffs.
Yeah, they made the playoffs that year. 2018, Panthers started off extremely well. We all remember how well they started. Most people remember how well they started. Started off 6-2. And then they had that Thursday night football game in Pittsburgh where they got blown out 52-21. And to this very day, they still never recovered from that game. Because after that, they only won one more game after that season to finish 7-9. So, yeah, that season went as bad as you can imagine. And even though he did come back for 2019, I feel like that season was truly the end of the Cam Newton, Ron Rivera era. I truly felt like that was the end of that era, because even though they did come back for 2019, that season went about as bad as you can imagine. Even though it's funny considering they started off 5-3 and of course then proceeded to lose 8 straight games. Then of course you have 2020 where they bring in you know who, Matt Rule, the disastrous tenure that would become. However, 2020, it wasn't exactly looking like the worst tenure ever, even though they went 5-11. There was at least some promise to be shown. However,
Who's
2020,
that year?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh yeah, Teddy time.
Yes, there was that. Yes, Teddy Bridgewater tenure with the Carolina Panthers. Next year, of course, 2021. This is where shit truly hits the fan. You had the quarterback system, the rotating quarterback system of Sam Darnold, Cam Newton, and PJ Walker. And while their record was very identical to 2020, they went 5-12. I can tell you this team was much worse than that 2020 team. They were atrocious, especially in their final couple of games where everyone wanted Matt Rule fired into the sun. However, because of that contract he signed despite David Tepper being a rich motherfucker, they wouldn't fire him after 2021 and waited until the first couple of games in 2022 to finally pull the plug. And of course, we all remember the Baker Mayfield experiment that the Carolina Panthers tried that ended up not working. Even though Baker played pretty badly with Carolina, it's very clear in hindsight that the Panthers organization is definitely more to blame for that falling apart pretty badly. However, let it be known, they did show promise last year, and this felt very good reason for people to have, high hopes for this Panthers team, at least in this season, showing potential is under Steve Wilkes. They ended up going on having a nice run to end the season to finish 7-10. And there was a lot of debate in the offseason, would they keep Steve Wilkes? Would they bring someone new in? And well, they made their decision, made the interesting decision, which in hindsight really seems like not the greatest decision now. They ended up hiring Frank Wright to be their next head coach. And hindsight aside, it did seem like a good hire considering his tenure with the Colts was not the worst, not a bad tenure truly. The last 2 years of that tenure were not good and not really good. Let's say that. However, this is the same man who managed to help Andrew Luck have one final great season before the Colts killed him for good, and he got a team led by Phillip Rivers to make the playoffs in the year 2020. So you know what, things looked good for him until those final 2 years, but just really depended on what else will the Panthers do? Because you got your new head coach, and we all know how really truly how badly the last hiring of Matt Rule ended up backfiring. So they ended up hiring a lot of guys that really showed a lot of promise and showed potential to be good coaches. Guys like Thomas Brown at offense coordinator, Josh McCown at quarterbacks coach, and obviously Ajero Evero at defensive coordinator. Which I will say, to answer the question of I will say the only thing that has gone right this season for Carolina has been Evero as defensive coordinator. That's literally been the one thing to go right for them. Because, entering this year, we talked about, Carolina getting their quarterback, making that splash trade with the Chicago Bears. Unfortunately for them, having to send DJ Moore away. But you know what? You get your quarterback in Bryce Young. And it seems like a joyous occasion for Carolina. And entering this season, and we can go back to our, pick'ems and all, well, not the pick'ems, but like the preseason predictions and all that. We weren't expecting them to be a good team, but we were expecting them to show a lot of promise. Show a lot of promise for a team that just drafted a quarterback at number 1 overall. And just there will be a lot of rough patches here and there, but you know what? Just show promise, and you should be good in the long run. However, as we approach this point, we are now at we are in week 10 of the NFL season. The Panthers have played their game this week. And at week 10 of this 2023 NFL season, the Carolina Panthers are 1-8. This team is 1-8 right now, and they are not showing glimmers of hope offensively in the slightest. There's a difference, as we noted, there's a difference between growing pains, which we expected from this team, and just being pure shit. This is not growing pains we're seeing from the Carolina Panthers. This team is pure and utter shit. And the fact that you lost to the Chicago Bears on Thursday Night Football while they were wearing those goddamn orange helmets says it all. Seriously, this is... Good lord. I want y'all to chime in because I'll have some more comments to say, but I feel like I've given a good enough opening to this section.
I actually kind of called this kind of bad season for for the Panthers, because I remember I was like, I don't get why everybody's hyping up the Panthers. Are you really trying to tell me you guys are gassing up an ancient Adam Thielen that was
But Adam Thielen has been their best player all season long.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's been good.
No, he's been good, actually. He's been good. He's been good. He's actually been damn good for Carolina.
He's the only reason why they're in any game this year. If he is not on this team is 0-9 without any kind of directions. I bet you Dave Tepper would have fired the coach already. We would have looked
this
team.
Thing.
This
Adam
team
Thielen's been literally the only good or even really only talented receiver on this team. And see, that's great for Adam because he's doing what he's got to do. However, if Adam Thielen is your only productive wide receiver on your team in 2023, that's a massive fucking problem.
Imagine if they had somebody by the name of
DJ Moore.
Imagine if they had DJ
And yes,
Moore and
obviously.
Thielen. You would have had like a really good, like the fact that Chuba Hubbard, who's been marinating behind CMC, who I thought could break out because he's shown flashes of something. The fact that he's being so unproductive is just the entire team, but Adam Thielen is flatlining. It's been bad. Like if they're fielding offers for Brian Burns, and if someone's offering you a first round pick, take the first round pick because you need it. They need a first round pick badly. It's
my brothers in Christ. What are you doing?
It's they had to send a king's ransom to Chicago. They felt like they had to do it. I understand why you felt like you had to get a quarterback like Bryce Young, who was NFL ready, who we've even said at the principal's office segments, right, where we thought, man, if the coach who they did hire, whatever quarterback that is going to this system is going to thrive. It's been the complete opposite. The fact that CJ Stroud is just the dude's having one hell of a season in Houston. The whole city has a lot of hope for the team this year. I hate what's going on in Carolina, but ever since Dave Tepper took the team over the team, it's gone from bad to worse.
It has. Really, and I want to say something.
What does David Tepper have other than his steel balls?
Nothing.
Really, you want to? I've said it before, and I've seen people have agreed with this comparison. Like David Tepper is what would happen if you took the worst traits of someone like Steve Cohen and turned it up to 11. That's who he is.
Even with Carolina FC, oh boy.
The thing, because David Tepper is rich as hell. He's even more rich than Steve Cohen, and yet this team feels like it's being ran by a guy who's broke as shit.
Oh, it's basically like if Steve Cohen ran the Mets like the Wilpons.
Yeah, I feel like even worse. Except without maybe not without as many Mets jokes, but still really embarrassing. Just still random, even worse. You get the point. But it really says something to me when it's when watching that game yesterday, Bryce Young can't even outduel Tyson Agent right now. That's a problem. And
he lost to a bagel.
I mean, even that too. The Carolina, Chicago doesn't have that great of a defense. It's where you show something.
Yeah, and
there
obviously,
was nothing.
I get that Montez Sweat obviously had a great game yesterday, ended up causing a lot of pressures and all that. Obviously, I get that will disrupt things, but for the love of God, this is still the Chicago Bears defense you're facing. You should not be looking that fucking lifeless out there. I mean, take away that special teams touchdown for Carolina. They only scored 6 points yesterday. That's how fucking bad their offense was.
It felt like they could move the ball to get 1 or 2 first downs and then flatline.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Basically.
The most damning thing is that they made Matt Eberflus look smart.
Yeah, they did. Literally, when you're getting out-coached by Matt Eberflus, that's a very bad thing for you. That is not good for you. And it really says something to me in terms of the fact that I just seeing how yesterday went, there were points in that game where I can just tell, Frank Wright does not have faith in Bryce Young to make these plays. He does not have faith in him right now. And especially when it's, he did have him convert a 4th down here and there, but there were multiple 4th and shorts around the Bears territory where he just elected to punt. And it really says something on that final play. The plays they drew up, which ended up, the plays they drew up really didn't feel confident for Bryce Young. And it really says something when 4th and 10 in Chicago territory at the 41-yard line, you elect to have your kicker try a 59-yard field goal at Soldier Field.
Yeah, it's not a smart plan.
It's just I'm baffled at how Carolina is this fucking bad. Like, not that they're bad, that they're this bad.
And they
Like,
don't have
just
their
what the
first.
fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
They have their second
That's
though,
why-
right?
I
And,
think
and I
they
think the
do.
most
Yeah.
I think the hilarious part about this is we just expect them to be mid.
They are.
Yeah, like
This is what
it's
people
just
who
something.
classifies teams as mid thinks what being called mid really is.
Yeah, look, like it really says something when the Bears fan is amazed at how bad you are. Like that's saying something when I'm amazed at it. 'Cause
I mean,
it's
if
like,
anything, like especially when you're looking at evaluation, just a little bit of the Bears, but the fact that Sweat just balled out, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Pulse
well,
is
there's a
finally
reason you
eating.
There's a reason you trade for talent, even if you have to pay a lot, which, let's be real, considering how the market's going in a couple years, that's probably going to look cheap as shit, especially when Micah Parsons gets his contract. But yeah, that's why you gotta bring talent in. However, I want to stay with Carolina. Wait, what were you going to say?
Not gonna lie, I was kind of worried that they wouldn't pay Sweat because of the Jalen Johnson shit.
Oh no, they
Yeah.
paid him. They the second
Yeah.
I saw they reached I think it was like last week on Saturday. It was like there was so much great football that happened. Oh yeah, Montez Sweat got extended.
Yeah, yeah, that just went right under the radar.
Flew
Yeah,
right under
however,
it.
yeah, right back to Carolina though. It's like I just felt like considering the scenario, considering what this game represented, not just for the Bears, but Carolina, considering the Bears have their first round pick, this was a must-win game for Carolina. Not for the season, but for the simple fact to say you didn't lose to the team who owns your pick right now, which right now would be the #1 pick in the draft. You can say at the very least, well, even if the season fucking sucks, we didn't lose to them. But no, you can't even say that. And regardless of the score, this has nothing to do with the score itself or, just how close it was and all that. The fact of the matter is, what this game represented, what this means for the Panthers, I'd argue this is the worst loss in Panthers history. Like, I genuinely argue this is the worst loss Carolina's ever had.
I think it's
To
up
lose to
there.
this Chicago Bears team, that is just good fucking lord.
Worse than Super Bowl 50.
Okay,
Super
maybe
Bowl
up there with
50.
Super Bowl-
I'd say
obviously
Super Bowl
Super
50 is
Bowl
up
50
there.
is a very bad loss, but in terms of just pure depression and hopelessness, this is, in my opinion, this is what this loss brings for the Panthers. Because it's just I just had a feeling they brought guys in, they surely, sure, this team won't be good, but they surely can't be worse than they were under Matt Rule. And guess what? They're somehow even worse than they were under Matt Rule. They're somehow even worse.
That's how bad this is. Nick Van is actually showing emotion.
I know, I am showing fucking emotion. How are you this fucking bad?
Oh, I mean.
It's just, oh my god. I'm gonna be real. After that loss, I don't see Frank Reich gain a second year. I don't see him surviving after losing to the fucking Bears. And I already know damn well Scott Fitterer's not gaining another year. Their GM is not lasting, considering every Panthers fan wants his head on a pike right now. And by the way, there's apparently a Panthers fans protest happening at their stadium this Sunday.
Oh, boy. Because here's the thing that I see with the one thing that I feel a lot of teams, when they say you gotta move on from this guy, move on this guy, it makes your organization look so bad when you want when GMs have a short, when you only have a GM for 1 or 2 years, when you have a head coach for 1 or 2 years. Look at the patterns that involves. Look at especially when you look at the Cleveland Browns for all those years. Even as far as bad as the Jets have been, the smartest thing that they have done is at least have had a coach be there for at least 4 years before you can them, because it makes your organization look a lot better when you have a coach be there longer than 1 or 2 years. Because then a lot of coaches are going to be like, well, if I'm the guy for 1 or 2 for a year or two, why would I even throw my name in the toss my name in the ring. Like really notable guys too, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Like, like shit. If this guy, if these bozos give Adam Gase that much of a leash,
like the one thing that that fans need to do is I do think that Bryce Young is going to be the future of this team. The next,
I do agree.
I do think that's the case, right? You gotta look for this. You gotta look at December. December, you got five. You'll have 5 games to end the season. Finish strong. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, I will say, if they're not firing him right now, they're not gonna fire him until after the season. I gotta say, they need to. If he wants any shot at saving his job, he needs to finish strong.
A strong finish. If this team finishes like 5-12, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Bryce Young looks
willing-
promising.
You're willing to give him one more year.
But even if you're finished 1-16, I still say you keep him because statistically, if you move on to a different head coach who's going to have a different offensive philosophy, what has that shown quarterbacks? They become busts.
I know, and that's very important to consider. That is very important to consider. However, it really says something when their current coach is having a coaching tenure right now that somehow right now this Panthers team is somehow worse than they were under a college coach.
100%.
That's embarrassing.
Even no matter what, I'm going to say is be careful when you want coaches fired. Be very careful.
Yeah,
be very even if they finish 1-16, I'm still gonna keep Frank Reich as my head coach.
Yeah, unless you're like Urban Meyer in Jacksonville, like you don't.
You're still keeping the GM. You're gonna build an O-line. That's what your focus is this offseason. We got to keep our quarterback upright, comfortable. Because when your very young quarterback is comfortable, he's been able to deliver. Like, look what they did in Houston. Like, sure, they still... that infamous trade for... What was that O-lineman's name? That very infamous trade. The guy that smoked pot and lowered his draft.
It was Laramie Tunsil.
Tunsil, yeah. Tunsil, oh my god. If Laramie Tunsil was on my team, I'm chilling. Right? Because he's very notable. And even then, especially with Stroud, right? He's comfortable. He's comfortable to make throws. And there's no veteran presence on this team. Like, he's making use of guys like Nico Collins, Tank Dell. The fact that they don't have a running game. They have a very, very good and effective passing game.
Let me say this, though. I do want to say, what this Carolina Panthers team reminds me of is the 2021 Jaguars, except take Urban Meyer out of the picture. Like, just the team itself, the product, the on-field performance, they remind me of the 2021 Jaguars in a lot of ways.
Agreed. Well, I mean, all I can say is we're probably going to see this team in the principal's office very soon.
I was actually going to say the 2009 Detroit Lions.
No.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, that was Stafford's rookie year. That was Matthew Stafford's rookie year.
Yeah, but they literally won more games than they did the previous years.
I mean, I will say, let it be said, though, that if there's anyone on this coaching staff that should be a lock for next year, it's Avero, their defensive coordinator, because he's literally doing all he can with that defense. Like, I think he's doing... These last couple of games, he's done an excellent job, in my opinion, especially considering the Panthers' defense is injured and stuff, and especially their secondary, like, not 100%. He's doing as great of a job as you could ask for.
He'll get calls, but I don't think he'll get hired.
I know. It's just, if there's anyone in that staff you need to keep if you're Carolina, it's him. Like,
They shouldn't. I don't think they'll have problems unless it's like you get somebody, unless the Cowboys lose their defensive coordinator, and then you're just able to pluck them from Carolina.
I mean, I don't know. Carolina, just right now, it's just such a, yes, they have Bryce Young. Yes, you have your quarterback, but, it's a really bad situation. It's a really bad situation. Maybe I'd argue in terms of on-field performance, this is currently the worst situation in the NFL right now, in my opinion. From an on-field perspective. And it doesn't help that David Tepper, which... Let's not lie. David Tepper has definitely climbed himself into being one of the worst owners right now. Let's not lie to ourselves. He's entered himself into that tier, especially considering the fiasco that was the Carolina Panthers headquarters situation.
There's a lot that he's done that hasn't done right, and the one of the things that really doesn't help your case, especially when you're an owner, is your lack of patience. I think that's the trap that he's falling into. Like, he's in his total tenure in owning 2 franchises in Carolina, 4 head coaches, 4 years.
Yeah, and I also think it doesn't help. Obviously, it doesn't help the fact that the previous coach he hired was Matt fucking Rule. That's not gonna help things either.
We all thought he was good. Then he wasn't.
I mean, yeah.
First
and it really
rule of
says
Matt
something-
Rule. Matt
Yeah,
Rule.
first rule, keep your ass in college. But it also says something that the Panthers they've never been the greatest organization. Something that they've had until David Tepper is coaching stability. Sure, Ron Rivera and John Fox won't light the world on fire, but they're stable head coaches to have, and they brought that for Carolina.
Stability for a franchise, especially when it comes to coaching, it works. It
just
does
works.
you so like you said, it just works. Stability in your franchise
Quoting Todd Howard.
works better than instability, because when you have stability, when a job is open, like say if Carroll were to go, that would be such a lucrative job to be a Seahawks head coach, because hey, so, like, Seattle's proven that it's been very stable. They've only had a coach that's only lasted 1 year, and that was a disastrous year. Then they went out, they got Carroll, who has been
Oh my god.
the coach
I
since
remember
then.
Mora Jr.
Yeah, it's again horrifically bad year, but now, like, outside of that, you got Holmgren, who's long tenure as a Seahawks coach. Carroll, another long tenure as a coach. Think of the Steelers. If his contract were to expire, how lucrative would a job in Pittsburgh be? And Pittsburgh, they're never a bad team.
Let me put it this way. Since the Steelers have come into... since the NFL merger, there have been more popes than Pittsburgh Steelers head coaches.
And Pittsburgh has been a very successful franchise because of stability. Like, they've beaten, and you'll compare to the Browns, right? They've been an unstable mess. Now, your other points, look at the Bengals. Well, the Bungles bungled around with the boob that should have been fired a long time ago. But your owner bad. Like, when
Cheap ass Mike Brown.
when the decline happens of the Cincinnati teams, I think Zach Taylor's going to be a coach for this team for the next 15 years. It's simple. That's the one counterpoint you do have. But you look at the Cowboys. Cowboys are just frustrating. They haven't been bad. They haven't been horrifyingly bad. They've had 6 regular season success because of stability. Being stable is more likely going to help you out in the long term. The Niners, when they had stable head coaches, fantastic with Harbaugh, and they have Kyle Shanahan that are going to lead the way. The GM tenures, like even Trent Baalke, as sort of stupid as he was, stability. Stable tenure. That's what you want in your franchise. If Carolina's going to head down the dangerous path that doomed Cleveland, we're going to be seeing a new shirt. The the Carolina Panthers starting quarterback jersey.
I'm just gonna say though, I will say though, with the Panthers, in terms of what they, if you're gonna this is my philosophy. If you're gonna make a move for someone, especially considering what your situation is, obviously depends on that, who what you want to be and all that. The thing is, you better know that you're getting someone better. Like, you need to know, okay, the man I'm hiring, who I'm hiring to be my next coach, is going to be an improvement. I need to know, I need to believe that this man is going to be an improvement. And I feel like that is something where people don't consider that enough. People won't consider enough that, well, obviously this tenure isn't going as great as you want it to go. However, obvious question is, can we find someone better? That's always a question you need to ask, and it's not being said to just defend said coach. It's being said to consider. Look, this is not. Sure, things could be going better. Sure, maybe one day we could find someone better. But is that guy available right now? And that's the main question.
Do you think there's somebody better out there that could ride the ship and genuinely salvage this career of Bryce Young right now? Yes or no?
Here's the thing. I do think there are people better, but I don't think there are people better who want to accept this job right now.
So you're gonna end up with some guy who thinks he can do better, but is very wrong.
I mean, you look at one of the things that I really like. KTO did a really good video on the 3-36-1 Cleveland Browns, where
yeah, I saw that.
Where when you're the coach that's brought into a horrible situation, the mindset is, I'm this super genius coach that's going to come out and save this franchise. I'm going to be the guy that does it. And they shove their head up their ass. It's a pitfall that a lot of coaches, they fall into. Whereas, if it happens, it's great, but if it doesn't, it's just another bad year. And Carolina's dangerously heading to that territory. Right now, I don't think there's a coach that can help this team. The only answer is Eric Bieniemy. He's about to be the next head coach of the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, as I said, I do believe, there are, in my opinion, there's better coaches out there, but there's not a coach who wants to accept this job. That's how I see it. No one wants to be your next coach. No one wants to coach this situation, and that's the way I truly see it with Carolina.
Well, I think there is one man who foolishly thinks he can fix it the same way he brought a certain quarterback to the playoffs twice. His name is Matt Nagy.
Oh God.
Oh, you know what? I think if Carolina were to move on from their head coach, they'd hire Matt Nagy, and it'd be the stupidest thing on the planet. I could see that.
That would be fucking hilarious. That would genuinely be fucking hilarious.
It'd be so predictable. That's so predictable, though. Why do I look at that and go, yeah, I could see that. I could see them hiring Matt Nagy as the next head coach.
I mean, shoot, they already have Eddie Pinheiro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's gonna be Double Doink 2.0.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we got the last team that's in the down bad territory. We're going from the gridiron to the ice. Edmonton. Oh my good God. I'm going to go to... Before I talk about it, Aiden...
You guys lost the Sharks.
Aiden, you can... I'll let you talk about the Sharks because I gotta run and take a piss.
Okay.
Alright. So I'm gonna talk first about my bad team, the San Jose Sharks. Now, I'm sure y'all know my team's pretty bad. We are bound to get a number one pick unless we get screwed over by the draft lottery, but let me just say this. This isn't a one-year thing. This has been a shit show that has been years in the making. Patient zero, I'd say, would be 2018. Fresh off a humiliating loss to an expansion team in the playoffs, Doug Wilson decided to double down on us being a contender and traded for Erik Karlsson. Now, that doesn't seem like a bad trade initially, right? Well, I'll explain more about it later, but early on, I was kind of sus about the trade. I mean, it seemed like a panic trade after we failed to get John Tavares. And we already had an offensive defenseman that didn't give a shit about defense in Brent Burns. I mean, at this point, you are probably better off developing or drafting a young defenseman instead of getting an older injury-prone defenseman. But I digress. We were still pretty good the following year, and I'm sure Nick Mann has some pretty bad memories about the 2018-2019 Sharks.
Yeah, I do. However, honestly, I can wash it away with the fact that I have a Stanley Cup and they don't.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, yep,
I'm just being honest.
yeah.
Just being honest.
yep. But here's the thing. Honestly, I feel like we shouldn't even have been in that situation to begin with. At this point, 2018, after getting humiliated by Vegas in the playoffs, I think personally we should have just blown it up or started selling off pieces and gotten younger. And I'll explain to you why in a little bit, because after 2019, shit just went haywire. Well, I'd say another patient zero would be like losing out on Pavelski in free agency because Doug Wilson decided to overpay for Evander Kane and Eric Carlson. Now, it seemed to be a smart move at the time because Pavelski was getting long in the tooth, but given how he's been doing in Dallas, I still think we should have, let Carlson walk and, given that money to Pavelski. But it's not just his production, but also his leadership that would have been vital. I mean, Couture's a decent captain, but I think Pavelski is much better. And as I mentioned, 2019 to 2020 was a really bad year for the Sharks. Everyone got injured, and it was pretty obvious we were way past it and we had to blow it up. But Doug Wilson decided to blame the injuries. He's like, you know what? We're still competitive, kinda. We're just gonna add to it. But every Shark fan was like, no, we gotta blow it up, we gotta rebuild. But he's like, no, we're just retooling. And funny part is we couldn't have been able to rebuild in the first place because we traded away that pick in the Carlson trade. And who was it taking that pick? Tim Stützle. Tim Stützle. Fuck you, Ottawa. I hope you guys never win the fucking cup. Anyways, Ottawa hatred aside, the Sharks were pretty much, past it. And even after, supposedly adding with guys like past it Patrick Marleau, Ryan Donato, freaking Devin Dubnyk. The Sharks were,
That third, by the way, that got us Jesper Wallstedt, which we'll get into.
yeah, but yeah, I mean that team was kind of down bad, but not exactly super bad. I'd say they were like the Red Wings tier of like shit. Like they were bad, but they didn't have any upside. And they're the only ones who are really worth watching in that team were Evander Kane, Carlson when he was healthy, Timo Meyer, Tomas Hertl, and Logan Couture. Brent Burns was already starting to get way past it, and he couldn't defend for shit anyways. And Vlasic, he was already way past his decline. And our goaltender was fucking Martin Jones. Martin Jones is the kind of goalie who's great when your defense is good and your team is dominating possession. That was us back then, but now that we were shit, Martin Jones didn't do shit. Same Devin Dubnyk.
We call that one the Cam Talbot special.
Yeah. However, despite all the signs saying, blow it up, rebuild, especially after we got William Eklund with a high pick, we gotta at least start rebuilding at that time. Just, start blowing it up, getting picks, developing our prospect pool. But no, Doug Wilson says, oh, we just need to be healthy. And, once we get Evander Kane's contract off our hands with because he was a dumbass and faked a backs card and buying out Martin Jones, we have cap space. Oh, what are we going to use the cap space on? I don't know.
Oh, let's trade for Capo.
Yeah, trade for Capo Kakkonen. Let's try out old all those failed prospects like Noah Gregor. Fuck Noah Gregor.
Who needs Jake Middleton anyway?
Yeah. Wilson mistakenly thought we were going to be competitive once everyone got healthy. And if we were gonna be competitive, then why the fuck did you let Eklund go back to Sweden after 9 games? Yeah, I get it, cap issues and all that shit, but
Well, if he plays 10 games, that counts a year against his
exactly,
contract. Where if he plays
exactly,
9,
like
it still doesn't.
yeah, but yeah, Doug Wilson didn't have a plan, and that season, I mean, we weren't exactly super shit, but we were meh. And the only reason we were meh rather than complete shit was because Eric Carlson was kind of healthy for a bit, and more importantly, we had Timo Meyer, who was pretty
He,
much the one bright spot
I
of
mean,
that team.
you know that Timo Meyer deal though? Ooh, that was a good contract for the. That was a very valuable contract for the Sharks that turned into really good assets.
Yeah, I gotta say though, however, I think going back to the Sharks, it was at the point where I realized, we gotta blow it up. This team ain't really going anywhere. So the next GM that we have, because Doug Wilson announced his retirement, hopefully he'd be like, what, fuck it, let's rebuild. And my career isn't perfect. He's made some rather sus moves, but there's one thing that I really appreciate him for. It's for just basically admitting defeat and realizing we had to fucking rebuild. And I'd say just we started out that on that quest by trading away Brent Burns. A good move, honestly, given that he was already way past his prime and he was pretty much useless now that we had Carlson. And at this point, he was basically just filling the team with like grinders and placeholder veterans, letting the youth develop. But I'm sure you all know how last season went. It was pretty bad. We had to trade Meyer mid-season because he was going to get wasted. However, we had one bright spot, one movable piece, and that was Eric Carlson. And the only reason he was finally movable was because he was finally healthy and because he had a Norris caliber season. So think that. So yeah, that was those are some things we could do. However, the problem with the Sharks was, despite being utter shit and rebuilding, we couldn't quite get the top pick because Carlson and Meyer were basically like carrying the team on their backs, and to a lesser extent, Couture and Hurdle were also carrying the team as well. We also had some surprise some surprise prospects that did pretty decent, like Thomas Bordelot and Henry Thrun. And other than that, though, the team was our goaltending was best known for one, a controversial dude who let's just say he was pretty controversial, and secondly,
Mhm.
Capo fucking Kakonen. I mean, he's okay this season, but let's just say I still hate the trade.
He sucks cock on a.
Yeah, thank God for Mackenzie Blackwood. But anyways, once we traded away Meyer and Carlson, we were like, you know what, fuck it, we're actually rebuilding, and honestly, that is for the best. I don't give a fuck if we get the record for the worst record in NHL history. If we get a top pick, it's gonna be worth it. We got some pieces. You just need to develop them. It's gonna be worth it. What's his face? William Eklund is turning into be a great player. I like his hustle. I like how he's been, how he's been one of our only puck movers alongside Tomas Hurdle. And as long as you put him in with good line mates like Hurdle, Zetterlund, Declare, he'll do well. The only problem is David Quinn's a dumbass, and he'd probably put him with like, I don't know, Luke fucking Cunnin. But given how we beat two teams with Hurdle and Eklund in the same line, hopefully it means that pairing stays, and that's good because you got to learn from someone who's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And
I,
goaltend.
yeah, and I will say, I do just want to say though, I just want to say quickly, like, yeah, it's very clear the impact that having that kind of player can make, considering how lifeless they look tonight without him.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like whenever Hurdles on the ice for the Sharks, they actually look pretty decent. When he's off the
Mhm.
ice, they look like an AHL team. And
Yeah.
I've watched the AHL affiliate of the Sharks, the Barracuda. I dare say they're better than most of the Sharks players, except for Eklund. And that being said, we're not Sharks fans. I did mention earlier in the Warriors bit that no team remains bad for that long. And there's light in the end of the tunnel. Apart from Greer finally realizing that, we have to rebuild, which thank God, we needed to rebuild. We needed to blow it the hell up and start over. And Greer is thankfully doing that. He's not pretending to compete like Doug Wilson. He's not trying to, fix fix holes with high priced reagents like, Ken Holland and the Red Wings. He's
Yeah,
actually
we'll get
just,
to Ken Holland.
Yeah, we'll get
Oh,
to the
boy.
Oilers. We'll get to the Oilers in a bit here.
we'll get to the Oilers in a bit, but yeah. Anyways, Greer has, he's finally accepting defeat. He's embracing the suck, allowing the prospects to develop, giving Eklund NHL experience. And here's one thing I have to really thank him for: we finally have a goalie for the future, Mackenzie Blackwood. I know Devil fans are gonna be like, "Oh, enjoy the ride. He's gonna suck after a while," but you know what? I'd say, given how he's done behind shit defenses, I think Blackwood, once you put a good defense in front of him, he's gonna do well. And it's not just Eklund and Blackwood that I'd like to talk about. Um, the guy we got from Minnesota, Addison. I mean, he's mid, but he'd be a decent puck mover on the blue line. Okotiuk is not the best defender, but he's great at blocking shots, and he at least tries hard. Now, that's one thing I do like about this Sharks crop. They're not the best, but they try hard. They try their best. I think after that two embarrassing 10, 10 two embarrassing games where they gave up 10 goals each, they just started like they just
Hello?
yes, hello, yeah.
All right.
They just started
Hello.
proving that they just started proving they had fight. They proved that those 10 goal games where they seemed dead were a fluke. I mean, they're still bad, but at least they're bad and they try hard. And I think that's the mentality that they can like build on. And you know who's embraced that? Eklund. Eklund's been like intercepting passes. He's been playing defense. You'd think that a guy who's an offensive prospect would not give a shit about defense, but no, he's actually trying. Who else have I been impressed by? Fabian Zetterlund. Yes, Zetterlund was acquired in the Meyer trade, and I'd say he's been one of our better offensive players. He's been in the line with Hurdle and Eklund, and he's been doing great. Duclair's been good as well, but I feel like he's a kind of guy who can't drive play. You need to feed him the puck and let him try shooting. I don't think he's gonna be here for long. We're probably gonna trade him for some picks after he scores some goals. Who else? Philip Zadina started off good, and I mean he's okay. He's still young. This is kind of like his last shot at the NHL. But for Sharks fans, what you guys really want to do is follow the Barracuda, follow college hockey, follow major junior hockey, because that's where the good stuff is gonna be. Luca Cagnoni might be our centerpiece on defense. Who else? Quentin Musty has been solid as a forward. Will Smith has had a good start to his career.
Rewind
In college.
time, baby.
Yeah, Philip Bystedt look pretty good in Sweden. Christian Robbins, from what I saw, has been doing okay in the Barracuda. But for the Barracuda, what I've been really impressed with were Ukama Doolin and front on the defensive side of things, and forward Daniil Gushchin. I get that people want Eklund to stay in the Barracuda, but I think him getting NHL minutes is better. Besides, we already have him.
I'd say I'd spare him from the on ice display and have him lead the Barracuda to the Calder Trophy. I think that's more of a valuable experience for Eklund than in right now. Like you're getting thrown
say,
into the wolves.
Well, I will say, as long as he's showing potential with the Sharks, even regardless of how awful the Sharks may be, as long as he's showing promise, then I say might as well keep him up there.
Exactly. Like, put him in the NHL, because the pace of play in the NHL is much faster than in the AHL. And also in the AHL, Bordelot's been doing solid. I think eventually, once we start getting rid of our veterans for picks, we're gonna see more Bordelot and Gushchin time in the pros. But I still think, since those two haven't quite reached Eklund levels of potential yet, let them marinate in the Barracuda for a bit until the end of the season. Same goes for Front and Makamadulan because it takes longer for defensemen to develop. I think for now, Sharks fans just need to be patient.
But enough
Warriors-
about the
But
Sharks.
anyways, the Warriors took like, I don't know, 3 years since drafting Steph to actually make the playoffs, and it took them like 6 years to actually win a championship. So, Sharks fans, be patient. We're gonna be good in a bit. And remember all the jokes I said about the Warriors back then. Hey, that could be us in the future. We could end up fucking the NHL, and I'm sure y'all are gonna hate me for it.
But enough about the Sharks. What about the team they beat? Jesus Christ.
Oh boy,
You know, the thing is-
Edmonton.
you know, the
Edmonton.
You
people
have
are asking-
Connor McDavid, you have Leon Draisaitl, and you can't beat like a fucking beer league team of an NHL franchise?
Basically, guys, middle six forwards that are about to be traded.
Now here's the
gonna
thing.
say-
Here's one thing I've noticed between Edmonton and San Jose. Now let's start off with expectations. San Jose is expected to be bad, so I'm like, you know what? Wins are just bonuses. Just get the pick, give Eklund playing time, draft Celebrini, and whatever. But Edmonton was supposed to be a freaking cup contender. You guys were supposed
Exactly.
to
This was
compete
supposed to
with
be their year.
Yeah, you guys were
Mhm.
supposed to compete with Vegas for the Pacific Division lead. You were supposed to compete with like Vegas, Dallas, and who else is good in the West?
Speaking of Dallas, I always thought of the Edmonton
Yeah.
Oilers as being like the Cowboys of the NHL.
Yeah,
No,
that's true.
that's Toronto. That's Toronto.
Yeah, but anyways, Edmonton, you were supposed to be good. What the fuck happened? You guys are losing to the Sharks, and that
Right.
goes on to the game. I saw bits and pieces of the game in the gym. And I gotta say this: the Sharks, as bad as they were, actually fucking tried hard. Like I mentioned, Eklund was playing defense despite being an offensive juggernaut. Well, not a juggernaut, a promising offensive talent. He was actually playing defense. The Sharks actually lead the league in block shots. Their defense is still shit, but at least they're trying their best to prevent the opponents from scoring 10 ever again. Edmonton, I mean, apart from Nugent's goal and that Nurse goal in the power, I forgot if it was not a power play, but Nuge and Nurse scored goals. But other than that, the Oilers looked like fucking shit. They looked like they weren't even trying. They were like, oh, this team gave up 10 goals. We just need to not try. Yeah, that team that gave up 10 goals beat you guys 3-2. And that's because they blocked a lot of shots. They played hard. Everyone, top to bottom, like they contributed. They weren't the most talented, but the Sharks worked hard. The Oilers didn't work hard at all. That's what pisses me off.
I think
Edmonton-
one of the things
competition.
that I want to add to, especially something that I've really noticed when I watched that game, which you're all sick for watching that game, disgusting, sick. But watching the dumpster fire of the Edmonton Oilers is something that just I find to be rather entertaining. Does McDavid look so disconnected right now?
He
Even
got
though
injured recently.
I know
he
he's
got
got. I know
injured.
there's a potential injury, but like the dude doesn't care. There's nothing there. Like even if regardless if McDavid's hurt, a smart organization would shelve him if that's the case. If he's hurt, then he should not be playing hockey. But if he's like at 95%, like dude's just disconnected. There's not a connect there. I mean, the whole team has got no energy there. I mean, if one of their star players got completely knocked down, I don't think anybody would be stepping up to the plate for a fight. I don't see it.
Yeah, I just gotta ask. Did Vegas seriously break you guys that fucking badly?
Not
Did we
Vegas,
break you that
Vancouver.
Hey, Vegas was the one who fucking exposed them in the playoffs last year. We
Well, yeah.
exposed them, and now just about everyone else knows how to fucking beat them now.
Yeah, you're well. That's one thing, but
Well,
like
here's
even
the
for
thing, though.
this year, the
Here's
fact
the
that
team.
Vancouver completely pantsed them 8-2, 6-2, and even on their home turf, it's like the fact that they can't have a goaltender with at least above like the bare fucking minimum for a goaltender in the NHL.
Oh yeah, and by the way, Jack Campbell's gone. Let's talk about that too. He got released.
Oh!
No, he's not. Wait, released?
Yeah,
Hold on,
he's
wait,
got
wait, wait,
released.
No, he got sent
Wait,
down. He
never
got sent
mind.
down to Bakersfield. He got sent down.
He got sent down.
He got sent
never
down. He
mind.
got sent
man.
down. I haven't heard of him getting released. He got
Oh,
sent
no,
down.
Okay, he got
You know what
sent
makes-
down, but yeah.
But I'm
You know
not.
what
I'm
makes
gonna get
the
to that. I'm gonna get to that in
Campbell
this.
thing funnier.
I'm gonna hold up.
Check out this what I
I'm gonna-
sent.
I'm gonna get to that first.
What
But
we'll talk. We'll talk.
the bare fucking minimum for a goalie, like say percentage. What would be your theoretical bare minimum for a goalie? And in the NHL, what say percentage would you imagine they should have to be an NHL caliber goaltender? What's your number?
800.
91%. 91.
Mine's
I go
905. 905.
I go 90. It depends
have
on the defense for
Very
me.
low expectations, so 800 is fine for me.
800, Spencer. That's like you should not be a goalie even at the AHL if it's 800. Like
Is it
I
that
would,
bad?
yeah, 8. Like
Yeah.
Spencer, 8. Anything under 905 in my books is you should not even be in the NHL. Like at bare minimum, your goal average should be above 905. As
Oh,
the
damn it!
bare minimum, like it's like like an average goalie right now. You're in the 910s. That's average. That's what most goalies in the NHL should have. It's a 910 save percentage. That's pretty average. Edmonton, they are not even. They're in like 870. Like Stuart Skinner's not even 900. He's 875. Jack Campbell's even worse. Jack Campbell's like they paid $5 million for somebody that they're about to buy out. Do you guys want to know what his first game in the AHL against the Abbotsford Canucks went?
Yeah, he
He got
played like
shelled.
shit.
He got shelled.
Like the guy can't even there's bad bounces, but the fact that you can't even control even the softest of bounces is
Like he's broken.
astonishing.
See, I thought he was gonna be like, like you were gonna tell me, oh, he's 780 in the.
Oh, 780. You're that like a 780 means you got pulled that night. And if you
here's the thing. Him and John Klingberg are battling for who can be the Chris Davis of hockey.
Yeah.
Okay, can I
Bruno
talk
Nurse might
about
be
the
joining
thing?
that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now you can.
Okay, and you know what the funniest thing is about the Oilers goalie situation is? They could have had a goalie prospect that is playing out of his mind in the AHL right now, a guy by the name of Jesper Wallstedt.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? They traded out of that pick to trade down and get the third from San Jose. Thank you, by the way, Aiden, for that pick we got from the Ryan Donato trade. It was Pittsburgh's third we got through you. Anyway. Yeah, and the Minnesota Wild ended up picking Jesper Wallstedt, and guess who fucking Edmonton ended up picking with their pick?
A bag of pucks.
Who?
Fucking... Oh, God, I need to look this up.
The fact that you have to look him up means his shit.
Yes, very much so. Oh, come on, baby. And his name was,
Name is John Cena.
I'm trying to see if I have a soundboard of it. I wasn't looking for a soundboard.
God damn it, wrong draft, I think. I'm looking
Bruh.
for 2021.
We parted our interruption to just present these technical difficulties we're
Oh,
experiencing.
here it is. They chose a guy by the name of Xavier Borgard.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got potential just to literally just be a top 2 minor league defenseman. He doesn't have a high ceiling.
They drafted him as a center. As a center.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Ooh.
Look, here's the thing. I want to say with Edmonton, though, in their goaltending situation, look, I understand that Edmonton's defense is not good in the slightest. I know it's gotten that reputation that, oh, low Oilers defense. It's such a bad defense. I definitely saw that last season at points. Like, their defense is well known for not being good, just as much as their goaltending is well known for not being good. Like, here's the thing. I get it. They're playing behind a shitty defense. But good lord, your save percentage should not be 870. Be that fucking low, even with how bad the defense is. I understand. Yes, the defense is terrible, but for God's sake, this goaltending is atrocious.
It's bad. Like it's horrifyingly bad. It's been bad. It's never been solved. I mean, even then, like, they're hoping that Stuart Skinner can evolve into a starting goaltender, and it doesn't look like it. I mean,
And it's sad because Skinner, the thing with Skinner was he had a great regular season last year, but come playoff time, it just all fell apart for him, and he hasn't recovered since.
Even that, we're looking at just the base defensive structure of the Edmonton Oilers isn't working. Their current coach isn't working. You need to save the season. You need to move off. Like, I hate saying moving off of coaches, but this is the one where you have to make a move. Well, you can.
From what I've heard, here's the thing. From what I've heard with Edmonton, they apparently tried doing the Vegas style defense, which is what we've seen under Cassidy and all that, like, which has been great for Vegas. The problem is, I feel like the reason that has failed miserably for them is, number one, you don't have the defensive guys that Vegas has, and number two, you don't have the coach to make that work right now. You don't have the defensive-minded coach that knows how to make such a defense work, and that's why Edmonton is trying to imitate something and failing miserably at it. And here's the thing, I will say, in my opinion, Woodcroft's not a bad coach by any means, but they gotta do something. That's the way I see it. They gotta make a change at this rate.
They need to. It's to the point where you don't want to miss if Edmonton misses the playoffs because this team just could not recover from just this horrific start they've had. What's going on? Because this is a team with Stanley Cup aspirations that's not making the Stanley Cup. You can't just put your hands in your pockets and just sigh, right? McDavid has only 2 years left. He's got 2 years left.
Look, I'm gonna say, if Edmonton doesn't get their shit together soon, if that mood from McDavid continues, I'm willing to say he's gonna request a trade at some point.
He's going to get traded for the long-term sake of that franchise. He would have to.
Please, Minnesota.
And the sad thing is, as much as I agree, they need to make a change. I have zero faith in Ken Holland making the right move right now.
No, he's not. You have McDavid. You're gonna keep McDavid, and he's gonna walk as a free agent. And what's McDavid gonna do? He's gonna sign with a contender.
Like the
Wild. I'll just say though with Ken Holland, it's a very Ken Holland move, and honestly a very Edmonton move would be for them to hire Mike Babcock. That'd be a very Edmonton move.
It would be.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Especially after the whole controversy you had in Columbus, which is hilarious because it's like I love how we never brought up the fact that we never even mentioned the fact that he never managed to coach a game with them.
Oh,
yeah.
By the way, I wanted to say this earlier, but Edmonton's defense has been an issue for it, like long before like a lot of the coaching changes they've made. Like it was an issue all the way back in like 2017 when they were when they got upset in the playoffs by the Ducks of all teams.
Well, yeah, it's well known how bad their defense is right now, and I feel like the big reason they're gonna need to make a change is they're gonna lose that locker room real fucking fast. Like
exactly.
And I mean, at this rate, I feel like you just need to bring in someone who will stabilize the locker room. And sure, maybe the options aren't the greatest, but all I'll say is, and while they have their flaws, a guy like Bruce Brodeur or a Gerard Gallant, I think would be able to stabilize it. That's my take on it, though.
I hope Barbecue Bruce gets another chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He
didn't
gets
like how
knocked
the
over.
tender in Vancouver ad ended, but with the current guy, what he's doing, the fact that he's still, the Canucks teams are still very engaged. I mean, maybe Bruce tactics might not work for a team like Edmonton. They might need something else. I'm sure, maybe Bruce might work out in the short term, but I don't think they'll work out in the long term.
I just
And
feel
just-
like they need to bring someone in at this rate,
Mhm.
because obviously you don't want to be a team that fires coaches all the time. But like when you start off this bad in a league that's an 82 game season with the expectations of being a Stanley Cup team, yeah, it's not what you want to see.
I mean, not even to mention, you can't even have like a moment of good news, right? I mean, even though Vegas did win tonight, but could
Yes,
you imagine if at one point this season, Edmonton is the worst team in the NHL and they still can't find a way out? Do you consider starting from scratch again? I can
And
actually.
it, I wouldn't.
I don't think they would. I don't. I don't
Well, the
think
thing
they
is,
would.
they're so bad at tanking. They actually forced the NHL to create the lottery system.
Well, yeah, we know that. But the thing with Canadian owners is there's this stereotype where they don't care how successful they are, because they care that they are. Well, they care that they're a competitive team because they feel if they were tanking, this is going to be. They're going to lose a lot of. They're going to lose much more money. So much more money that they don't think that they would recover from to commit to a full-on rebuild.
Well, we can't do a full rebuild, but
Well, it's just 'cause
think
it's the
about how many
Canadian-
dollars we'd lose, eh?
It's just because that's just the Canadian market at the moment.
That was my best attempt at a Canadian accent.
Like
Also, aren't they
it's
scared that that Canadian team's gonna move again?
no, it's only Winnipeg that's in threat of moving. I just say to the current ownership group, be very careful. Be very careful. Be very careful. I hope not.
Yeah,
But
because it's Winnipeg.
But because
Kill
like
ya.
you have teams in like one of like in the QGEM AHL, like the there's an NHL quality stadium that is sold out on most nights to, what is it, the Quebec what's the
Yeah, probably Quebec.
with the Quebec team? I
The
blanking on
Quebec
the name.
Ramparts.
Yeah, Quebec Ramparts. They're sold out playing in an NHL style venue that can host an NHL team that they're not going to, and this is a team that's selling out every night. Like, hockey still will be huge in Canada, but who knows what is decided right now. It's just there's so much unknowns. You can't even have, Jack Campbell has a solid start. He only lets 2 goals in, and he stops like 21, something like that. No, you can't even have that. Can't even have that. He lets in a bunch of weak, soft goals that you shouldn't be letting in, and now you're starting at square one with Jack. You're hoping he rebounds. And one thing to note, like, he could be a sub 900 goalie, but still perform very well because the AHL is just really weird, and weird stuff will happen. Right? Most of these defensemen aren't NHL quality defensemen. You go up against like a forward who is NHL ready, they're going to lose that battle on most nights, because it's, what the Canucks did when tossing out Spencer Martin with a bunch of sieves on defense last year. That's the equivalent of it. But the fact that you can't even have him being just somewhat dominant is just upsetting. There's so many, you have more questions than you have answers for the Edmonton Oilers. And at the same point, it's if McDavid is hurt, shelf McDavid for a couple weeks. If he's not hurt, you gotta snap him out of something because he should not be going 7 games that he is scoreless. And even at the end of it, if Edmonton does not recover from this, and McDavid goes somewhere else, this will be one of the greatest wastes of talent in all of North American sports, and it doesn't even come close.
Are we done talking about the Oilers?
If anybody has anything else to add.
I think I've said what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
about Edmonton.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a meme. Oilers. I don't know how I can say this, but you guys somehow have a worse goaltending tandem than the fucking Sharks. I'm not kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
All right. One more
Yeah.
team I think is down bad. The Atlanta Falcons, and that's mostly because Arthur Smith is a fucking idiot who had to shave off his mustache in shame after losing to Josh Dobbs.
All I can say about the Falcons is it took them way too long to bench Desmond Ridder.
Desmond Ridder was a 3rd-round pick. He was never going to emerge as a starting quarterback. Those rarely happen.
And
Yes,
the
try to
fact
make
that
Desmond Ridder happen. It will never happen.
and the
Ridder
fact that he
didn't-
kept trying to, he's like, oh, I'm not gonna use Kyle Pitts because I'm not gonna let some fantasy nerds dictate what I do with my team.
Well, you should let fantasy dorks
get a
dictate.
fucking grip.
You should dictate what fantasy football should not dictate real football. Period. It
Yeah,
should.
you shouldn't let that dictate you. However, the fact of the matter is, you're still fucking stupid for not using Kyle Pitts.
Well, it's called Pitts. Drake London's not getting used. Tyler Algier's not getting used. Bijan Robinson's not getting used. I'd move off of Arthur Smith. I've seen enough. It's not that the Panthers are necessarily down bad. This is a thank God that this is a ideal scenario where you move off of Arthur Smith, you hire an offensive minded head coach. There is stability in Atlanta. Atlanta's a very stable organization that has the stability that is needed to have a head coach to bring in. This is a quarterback draft class that that I would imagine if a quarterback were to go in here, it'd be relatively pretty successful. That's about all I have to add. I think Atlanta's fine. They could still win the division given how pathetic the South is on top of everything.
The way I see it, Atlanta is extremely mid. Atlanta is the definition of mid right now, and I'm just gonna be honest. There's a good shot. There is a chance that the entire NFC South might have new coaches next season. Not a guarantee, but there's a chance because, yeah, all the NFC South coaches are not exactly safe right now. Let's say that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a quick roll call. We got Frank Wright. We've already talked about him.
Frank Wright, I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50. Even if he goes 1-6, I'm 50. I'd be 50-50.
Arthur Smith.
Gone. 100% gone. If he doesn't make the playoffs, he's 100% gone. Making the playoffs for the Falcons will be the worst thing imaginable.
Todd Bowles.
25-75. 25-75. 25%, yes.
And Dennis Allen.
25-75.
God, the Saints. I thought the Saints were going to be bad. I didn't realize that they'd be so boring.
They're boring. They're not bad. They're just boring.
Oh my God.
They're mid.
They're
They are mid.
so boring to watch. Fuck, I'd rather sleep than watch the Saints. How do Saints fans stay awake watching their team? Pete Carmichael might actually just be might be more effective than a bottle of ZzzQuil. That's how shitty and slow this offense is.
Mm-hmm.
and we're playing them this week, and they don't have Michael Thomas.
Again, the thing to know about like the Saints that what's I've kind of figured out is they really don't have like a finisher on offense. I mean, Chris Olave's taking steps back. Derek Carr is a game manager when they really don't need a game manager. It's the Saints are boring. The offensive coordinator's on the same tier as Matt Canada.
I mean, I'll say this. I will say this. What I have noticed is, regardless of how, inconsistent and underachieving their offense has been, I will say Derek Carr has been doing a fine enough job. I feel like he's been doing fine. Not the most exciting quarterback, obviously, but you know what? He's doing what he's got to do. But yeah, I'll just say, I don't know. I don't think both of them gets fired, but I think one of them, Fallon and Pete Carmichael, gets moved.
Pete Carmichael gets moved off of.
Yeah, I think so.
You gotta move off of Pete Carmichael. The thing is, unless you make the playoffs, it's the worst thing for any of these teams. Well, maybe the Buccaneers might be the best case, because I don't really hate Todd Bowles right now. It's more of this year is kind of just a wash, because you don't really have
Todd just exists right now. It just feels like he's just holding that seat right now until someone better comes along. I mean, the only reason he got that job was because Bruce Arians retired.
Mm-hmm. He's not doing a terrible job. I don't think he's doing something terrible. It's kind of like the end of like Brady leaving, and you're just kind of just picking up the pieces. That's all. That's just how I feel about the situation in Tampa Bay. I don't think so. I think, Todd Bowles, if you get Drake May, I think that's a perfect scenario. Or you just find a really good, offensive coordinator. They just need a quarterback because Baker Mayfield's
It's not that honestly, quarterback's not their biggest need right now. They need a fucking running back. They have zero run game right now.
And you can find a running back in the second round of the draft. With how good running backs are,
they need to get something.
Honestly, I think how bad this season has been for running in the NFL in general might just be exactly what the doctor ordered for running backs to get paid.
No, because it just makes the point that much better. Look, I'm paying this running back so much money, he's not even doing anything.
No, it's more like I don't need to pay my running back anything. That I can get them so cheap, and then all of a sudden they're breaking and not doing anything.
There's yes and no. More people are the way how I see it is defensive coordinators have kind of adjusted to it. They're stacking the box and then covering more on the outside so you don't get beat. They're having two high instead of one high safety in the back. They're now having two. So they're making sure if there is a big run, you're more likely going to get 20 yards instead of a touchdowns, where in the previous years you could have running backs run all over the place because they're only having two high safeties. You only got 10 men to beat. Sure, you have nine's a smaller number, but you still have to beat the two speedy safeties out. It's more just the defense patch notes for this year. Defensive coordinators have kind of figured out how to stop most high-flying offenses, and that is you don't get beat by the speed anymore. So, yeah. That's just how I kind of see that's just how I kind of see it at the moment. I could be wrong, but I think defensive coordinators have adjusted to most offenses at the moment, and offensive coordinators has to figure out how do we stop the defensive patch notes without changing the NFL rules, because I don't think there's any rule that the NFL could introduce that will change much. So could be wrong, but we'll see. Anyways, I think that's just about to do it for us today.
especially because it's 2 in the morning for me.
I know. I wanted
Yeah.
to go. I wanted to go till 10, but we just started doing
Yeah.
the theme.
I just want to say I hope some shit happens in baseball because then I can finally talk about stuff regarding you know what.
Cubs or the White Sox. Oh, Otani.
Well, that and the fact that we basically stole Milwaukee's manager.
I find that hilarious.
You know what? Have fun. Have fun with that come October, buddy.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take cred. I'll take it.
I still find it hilarious that the Dodgers haven't fired their head coach, their bench boss. They still haven't, and it's the funniest thing ever.
They're stupid.
I mean, they'll still get a
Yeah.
100-win season, which is apparently enough to secure a man's job. So, baseball's just weird. Baseball just makes no sense sometimes.
It's a weird sport. There's a reason baseball. There's a channel. There's a channel talking about how weird baseball is.
Yeah, baseball makes no sense.
But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us.
Yeah, I think it's gonna do it for us today. I don't think we have any watch-alongs. I would say Sunday, but I think I might get dragged against my will for a family outing.
And my mom is celebrating a birthday, so
I don't think it's gonna happen this week. Probably I'm hopefully gonna be streaming a lot more. I'm just waiting for the Pokemon Rejuvenation Guide to come out. So I'm currently playing through like the earlier stages, and I'm terrified I've missed like several things. So I'm gonna wait for that guide to drop, and then I'm gonna start my live stream playthrough of that. And yeah, I hope we'll see you guys soon. See you guys next week. Take care of yourselves, everybody, and have yourselves a good night.
yeah. See ya.